Ethereal Network, the gaming network.
It's Saturday. Good day, everyone. This is Pascal, and I'm here to bring you the ECS 2019 tournament by Ethereal Network Esports. Today, lots of game. We're gonna start with some Elimination Games, and tomorrow, Sunday, we're gonna continue with the Final Games. 2 brackets, 1 bracket under 2,500 and another bracket after 2,500. The first day, all the teams within the bracket will play together. Tomorrow, all brackets will play together at the end of the day. With that said, enough talk, and I'm going to send it to the caster.
How's it going, Overwatch fans? Welcome to an Esports Nets ECS 2019. I'm JJSkywalker, and currently we've got a best of 5 games, single elimination bracket where teams are going to be vying for that first place position. Currently we've got Llama versus Azure, and I'm not alone today. I'm joined by my fellow caster, Rapture. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going pretty well. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's good to be here doing the single elimination bracket matches. This is an elimination round, a best of 5, as you said, for Esports Net ECS 2019. Our first matchup between Llama and Azure on Umani. Now, I believe this first map was random, and then the loser will be picking throughout the set, and it is best of 5. So one team can win this pretty quickly, 3-0 JJ, and we can already see some, honestly, compositions that I'm not entirely used to seeing on Umani, but it's currently working. You can already see Llama in the blue getting 2-3 kills with Smithy on the Genji. Honestly, JJ, this fight kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we're looking at a pretty interesting dive defense going on for Azure, but or rather for Llama. But as for Azure, Bastion attack is something fascinating that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so I mean, teams will, if you're not running like Goat's composition, which is pretty tanky, 3 tanks, 3 supports, a lot of teams will kind of run more mobile compositions. We're seeing a Symmetra on defense here, which I guess gives the team extra mobility, even though a good amount of their characters are pretty mobile. It does give the Zenyatta and the Ana a good amount of opportunity to move around on defense, but they're up against a Bastion, which is, a static offense. They really just have to have a good sight line and get rid of the shield, but there are 2 or 3 shields, at least 2 shields in front of them, so that Genji has to go in. The Genji will get the Zenyatta, and then Sayo finishes off Thunderstorm, the Bastion. That's another huge cleanup here for the defense. Azure is getting body bagged. They really haven't figured out a way in, and they need Fantasy Moon to build up the EMP, because the EMP will be a way for Azure to break this defense.
Yeah, and I mean, the power's there for Azure, but the fundamentals are definitely there for Llama. Constantly moving, making sure that they're not in the sidelines of that Bastion, and then the Genji immediately jumps that very low health backline. But we're already seeing switches going for
Yeah, some switches for the red side Azure, so nice pickup there for Thunderstorm, getting a 6v5 situation, but they don't have any ultimates still. Because they changed characters, they put themselves even further behind an ult charge. That's still an advantage for the defense. They don't even need those, and now they're going to use the Dragon Blade just to clean up the remainder of this. Smithy finds Brandify, and that should be the rest of the offense going down very easily. So again, not only a full team kill there, but Llama also comes out of that with 5 ultimates to go. That's a massive advantage with only 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and so far, all they've had to do is just play it mechanically, eliminate the team one by one. And sadly, right now, Azure hasn't been able to kind of tackle with coordination. But hopefully that's able to change. Either way, they've got to go against the defense with 5 ultimates.
Yeah, I see. Really what Azure should do here is change Wacky Ferret and Hurricane off of these slower or static, like, defensive, tanky characters, and instead go for more mobile tanks. They should be going for like a Winston and a Diva, so they can move forward and try and get some kills here, because the problem is that they have a Reinhardt and an Orisa who aren't really blocking anybody. Like, they're blocking the Ana, that's pretty much it. The Pharah is going to be in the air, so the Pharah is not behind any shields, and Sombra is not usually behind shields either, because they're trying to get hacked. So having a Reinhardt and an Orisa in this situation probably isn't the most beneficial. They want more mobile tanks. Even a Hammond, a Wrecking Ball would be great in this situation, so they could break up the back line very swiftly, because they kind of have to, like, do better than Smithy's very high rate of kill, right? Like, they have to accept that Smithy's going to get back there and get some kills. They got to get kills too, otherwise they're not going to be able to keep up.
Yep, agreed. And with this type of composition, you can, like you said, it's kind of displaced. We're seeing kind of 3 speeds going on.
Oh, Smithy does pick up one. There was the charge in. Wacky Ferret out of position, gets killed. The Mercy unable to stay with him because of the charge, and then there's another Dragon Blade cleanup. The Llama in full control right now. Here's a self-destruct just for good measure, but at this point it's just Llama burning all their ultimates as they get a full hold here, JJ, on Numbani. That means all they have to do is get, I believe, just 1/3 of this point to take the map.
And what an interesting way to go. I mean, so far we've seen Llama has structure, has just like a general understanding of when to attack. So I'm wondering if maybe Azure will be able to pull an interesting defense. I mean, as far as I know on Numbani, a staggered defense might be something good. You know, several people on not only high vantage point, but several areas. But I'm wondering if they're going to be able to tackle the coordination from Llama.
Honestly, I think what they should do is just go back to the composition they tried to initially. Like, try the Orisa Bastion comp. That's really not a bad composition on first point defense on Numbani because you have a lot of open room to kind of like look for different sight lines. You can get to cover if need be, and you have a shield to work with. And of course, the Orisa Halt will pull out the attacking members from those hallways in the low ground so they can get killed by the Bastion. That might not be a bad composition. All right. I think we might be back, so if anyone missed anything, you'll see that that's going to be a complete wipe. It was really just Sayo going on the Pharah, and it was a massive cleanup. The thing about that is that there really just wasn't enough range for the defense to take care of the Pharah, and that was pretty much it. And the highly mobile tanks and Genji made it hard to focus on just the Pharah as well.
No, completely agree. I mean, it was a death ball. It was a death ball combined with Torbjorn. Torbjorn was literally the only hit scan relatively there at the end, and it wasn't pretty.
Yep, there's the play of the game right there. I mean, right there is pretty much a team effort, but it was pretty easy for Smithy to build up ult charge and then be ready with the Dragon Blade and clean up the rest of their opponents.
A performance worthy of repetition.
All right, looks like we'll be taking a break for about a few minutes or so, so don't go anywhere. Some more ECS 2019 coming your way. Welcome back, everybody, to ECS 2019, brought to you by Esports.net. I am Rapture here with JJSkywalker for Map 2 between Llama and Azure. We just saw Numbani where Llama pretty convincingly took that map with a full hold on point A and then a very swift offensive take on their attempt. And now it's Volverskaya to see who will be up 2-0 or potentially if Azure can go 1-1. JJ, any expectations for this one?
I mean, to be honest, Llama's clearly shown that like they have really good startup picks, or rather also fundamentals, especially considering on their defense. So on the first go, I like to say that the first hold is going to be a pretty long and convincing one, but it is going to be a long Volskaya map. You know, it's the first game. Sometimes you just got to get, you know, those knees stretched, those legs stretched. So Azure still has like a good amount to show what they got here on the first round, first round of this map.
Yeah, we could also see another full hold here as Llama is in position to do that. They are on defense first. Azure in the red going to be moving out with a composition of 3 DPS along with a Hammond. So Hammond is a pretty common tank pick when you go for the 3 DPS. You just have that Wrecking Ball, pile drive into the back line, and then use the DPS to move forward and try and do some damage. You're going to see Thunderstorm and Brandapai on the Reaper and Tracer respectively going on the left flank and trying to get into the back line as Wacky Ferret takes out Smithy. So already, the first time Azure with a pretty nice start, but it's 5v5 as Not Jeff takes out Brandapai. You can see how clumped up here this Llama team is. They want to stay together and not get picked apart by the 3 DPS of the Red Squad Azure. And so far, Azure, I mean, they did that initial bit of damage here, JJ, but since then, they haven't been able to break through the choke point.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that's the problem with Azure right now. They're running a lot of champs that are just very low HP. They have to look for some type of priority if they want to take advantage of this composition, but it's just so much health to kind of...
Oh, and Thunderstorm having trouble getting in with the Reaper. Always the classic problem with Reaper. He either has to use his resources to get in and then he can't get out, or he has to just try and walk in and somehow not die because he's not using resources. He wants to save them to get out. So it's always a classic problem, one way or the other. Reaper often dies without having, you know, they don't have teammates nearby and unable to do so. That Reaper kind of went down, and now Thunderstorm is going to change over to the Pharah and start doing a lot of damage there as Hurricane threw down the rally, but still Azure has not been able to break through the choke point. They're trying to use the Pharah to get in. They have the Bree pushing forward, but unfortunately their Hammond gets stunned for a bit, and then Smithy takes out Thunderstorm, so it's a big loss there for Azure. They lose their biggest DPS output right there, and now it's up to Fantasy Moon and Brandapai to try and pick up the slack. Thunderstorm just come back in, but then Fantasy Storm and Hurricane go right down immediately. There's some first contention, JJ, for the first time on this map, but it's going to be cleaned up pretty swiftly here unless Thunderstorm can make this happen, put the team on their back, and Not Jeff takes them out, so that's not going to happen. A 3-kill, a nice triple by Not Jeff to clean up the remainder of this Azure squad, and JJ, Llama is in full control here.
Yeah, I mean, Azure, it's clear that there's the communication was to immediately go in, but the priority is a little bit awkward. Savitar on Monkey was able to get into the backline and just harass the supports for the majority of that fight. I'd say 80% of it without being hit even once. So it's going to be a difficult thing if the tanks aren't going to be tackled, or the supports are just going to be harassed consistently in those back.
Oh, Fantasy Moon might not be able to get out. Yeah, that Symmetra turret just slowed down the Genji, made it hard for them to get out. Smithy and Aesthetic Owl also getting some kills. Smithy for 2 off that Dragon Blade. And just like that, a very solid hold yet again, as we've been seeing time and time again here for Llama. They pulled again, and now Azure, 1 minute and 7 seconds left on the clock.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, Azure does have ultimates. They've got, you know, potential, Fair Barrage, as well as Genji Blade. They need to look for some type of synergy going into this, but they also have to go against a lot of chunky ultimates.
Well, Thunderstorm and Fantasy Moon, they can use their ultimates to get some kills, and Wacky Ferret will make it hard for them to clump up, but no! Smithy and Lee Hyukun popping off there with Savitar and Aesthetic Owl picking up the other sides. 2 for Aesthetic Owl there, and just like that, they don't even get to use their ultimates. Oh, and then Thunderstorm switches, so had a full ult, switches, not using it. Wacky Ferret burned their minds despite going down, so no value off that. Fantasy Moon is now the only one with an ultimate. Hurricane goes down. And now it's, you know, right now, it's looking very difficult here to imagine Azure possibly bringing this back. They have 15 seconds left to go, JJ, and Llama is just curb stomping them right now.
Agreed. I mean, if anything, Hammond looks like he might try a C9, but he's got to get through 3 chevrons in order to do that. I just don't see that happening. But I mean, to hope is to hope. These guys are moving forward and not even, touching the point at the end. That's a little bit of a difficult one, but that's going to be a full hold from.
Yeah, they just unfortunately for Azure, they kind of tried to push in individually, try to poke and prod, but their composition for them. They're using triple DPS with the Hammond, right? You gotta just go in. You gotta just run in, have the Hammond. Often the Hammond kind of has to die, right? The Hammond kind of has to like take all the attention from the opposing team and take it off of your 3 DPS so that they can get damage done quick enough. The DPS have to be able to get damage quick enough so that way the Hammond either doesn't die in vain or doesn't die at all. Unfortunately, Azure was unable to do that, and a lot of the time, it wasn't even just they weren't able to do that, but Llama was just killing them preemptively before they really even got started, before their engines really started getting rolling there. So, for now, it seems like Llama might be taking another very swift point A capture, which would put them not only at 2-0, but only 1 map away from taking this series. And that means Azure right now has a lot of work to do.
Agreed. I mean, when they were playing that triple DPS, it almost seemed like they were trying to run a death ball, trying to go nice and slow, making sure that their attacks were coordinated. But I think in very much how you described it should have been played more like a dive. Let the tanks be tanks, let them distract, and then let the DPS do their work in the backline. But that was then, and I suppose this is now. It looks like they're going to be going for another relatively same death ball as they did on Numbani, with a Symmetra, with a Bastion. But looks like they might be going against kind of like a partial dive.
This is very risky, very, very risky defense here for Azure, because, I mean, the second the Bastion goes down, that's kind of it, right? Or if the shields go down, that's kind of it, and this might be a very swift capture. Again, only 1/3 of point A needs to be captured for the blue side here. Llama, it might be able to do this quickly, because they have the mobility to do so. They can just run right in and just circumvent this Bastion. Why even fight it? Just go right in. But they pay the ultimate price as Brandon Pie and Fantasy Moon pick up kills. It's a 64 situation here for the red side. And Llama find themselves the first time in this series, I think, on their heels, on the ropes. They're down on their mercy now, and they're going to lose Smithy as well. Looks like Aesthetic Owl trying to rush in there and potentially salvage this fight, or at least try and get Smithy out of harm's way. Smithy will get back out with the dash. Brandify unable to land the hook. So Smithy can still harass this back line, despite Aesthetic Owl, losing their Diva mech. They will be able to harass on the Smithy will be able to harass on the Genji thanks to that Diva's help prior. And so, really, we just have another 3 minutes for this Llama squad to make something happen.
It was funny. I mean, I don't think they saw Fantasy Moon on Bastion. They went by, saw the whole team on the right, and just kind of passed it. And it looks like they're going to still keep trying that. Still circumventing, trying to get to that backline, split the damage, but then taking out the damage with a nice melee attack.
There is a res from Miko Onka on Fantasy Moon. Not Jeff will get back in on Saboteur. It's going to be hard to take out Lenka, though. Has that Valkyrie, not Jeff. It's not there just yet, but here's Smithy's been popping off with a Dragon Blade so far. Gets taken out by Thunderstorm's turret. Symmetra popping off instead. And Sue trying to salvage this fight. Picks up 2 kills. That might be enough right there. They don't have a Mercy res. That's definitely enough. I think that's more than enough here now for Llama to pick this up. Saya with an absolutely clutch play. 3 crucial kills with the Pharah, and it translates into that point A capture we were expecting. It will be Llama going up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, the damage came back. The res was immediately put on the Bastion, which made it fascinating. But with Xiao on Pharah, and no shields on that Bastion, it just made it easy picks for him.
Yep, and play of the game coming out here for Sia. This should likely be this last fight. Takes out Fantasy Moon, has the barrage, finds 2 crucial characters there. Thunderstorm, who have been doing a lot of damage, who took out their Genji, and the Mercy, denying them any more reses, and then just kind of snowballed from there. So, I mean, at that point, a big win for Llama, and now we're going to go to a quick break here as we move on to our next map, which I believe will be King's Row. We'll see, though, on the other side of this break, can Azure bring this back, or will Llama take the series 3-0? Don't go anywhere. More ECS 2019 coming your way on the other side of this break.
Ready for battle.
Hey, welcome back everybody to our third map here between Llama and Azure. Llama is up 2-0 as we move on to King's Row, and it looks like Llama is again on defense for the first attempt. So Azure, it's their third try on offense first to see if they can break through this very, very strong Llama defense, which so far has been impenetrable here, JJ. We got King's Row. Anything you're looking forward to here?
It's hard for me to say. The first thing I was thinking is just that impenetrable defense. It's making it so easy for Llama to be able to get these maps quickly. They just defend for the entirety of the timer and then take in the first spot. Suppose I want to see the resources be used from Azure much more heavily. They keep switching out picks and not using what they've gained over the time of the match. So I'm hoping to see more of that, I suppose.
Oh, all right. I kind of like this. Thunderstorm going to use that Symmetra portal to get themselves all the way onto the high ground and avoid the choke point. So there's an opportunity to try and break in on the defense, but I think that they need Fantasy Moon to kind of come with them. Otherwise, I don't think it's really going to work. And that's really what I think that strat should have been for, right? Because King's Row on offense, it's pretty hard for Bastion to hold any sight lines, but that teleporter that Symmetra has can get Bastion onto some really good high ground areas on offense, and they didn't really seem to use it for that. They kind of sent everybody but the Bastion over the choke point and through past the statue, and Llama was ready right there for it. Now 50 seconds been burned off the clock, and it looks like, again, in full control is this Llama squad, but we do see a slight change. Hurricane on the Mei, different than earlier. Thunderstorm now moving on to the Zarya. Fantasy Moon still on the Bastion, but I'm expecting that to change soon. It hasn't worked very well, and they're pretty still far away from the tank mode. We'll see here, JJ, but again, Smithy and the rest of Llama in full control. And here's the Dragon Blade coming out. That should be some more kills here. Hurricane preemptively going into the ice block just in case. Brandify can't get away that easily. Savitar is giving some more room to work with here. A Blizzard will come out from Hurricane, but Hurricane can't follow up as Smithy finds another kill. Just absolutely devastating is Smithy on this Genji.
Yeah, Smithy is just not being tackled in that backline. He's having full right over anyone, taking full advantage of his speedy kit, taking out as many people as he can. As for Azure, they're a little bit surprised, a little bit fuddled, if you will. Some of them are tackling the front line, the others are trying to tackle the back line. They need a little bit of priority here if they're going to be moving any bit forward, and they have the power to go through that ISO. That's what I find surprising.
Oh man, that could have been, if that was just slightly to the left, could have been a little better, but it lands on the bus instead. Oh, a great Earth Shatter there from Savitar. Gonna find Hurricane. Brand of Pie also got caught. Savitar picked that kill up as well. Thunderstorm got caught in the crossfire by not Jeff. 6v3 situation. Wacky Ferret will find one, but it doesn't even matter because Smithy will destroy with his Dragon Blade as they have every time here. Even Sayo going onto that Mei now, just to even make it harder for Azure to try and push through this choke point.
Yeah, and it looks like for a second tank, Thunderstorm just trying his best to tackle Smithy as best as he can, but he just keeps coming over that wall and dishing.
Oh, Blizzard comes down here. That'll be from Sayo. And I think a great Annonade there from Lee Huyukun. That's going to stop Thunderstorm from, not only getting a little farther, but had to use the Primal Rage, and now he'll be able to push up, but had to use that ultimate to do so. Savitar kills Hurricane. Smithy finds MKO Lenka, and that's going to be another wipe here for the Llama squad.
Yeah, I mean, Azure right now, 1 minute left at the very least. At the very max, 2 attacks going into this, and their ult economy is not looking.
Yeah, it's really not. They don't have any ults ready to go. Fantasy Moon will have the Pulse Bomb. It's going to have to be a game-winning Pulse Bomb right here because the Mei Blizzards really haven't been enough to slow down this Llama squad. They just have too much mobility, and they have Lee Huyukun who can really just give that burst healing at any moment, and not Jeff as well with the ranged healing that can do wonders and also help melt anyone from the red side who tries to jump in here. And now we have 22 seconds left on the clock. Here comes that Blizzard. Going to try and lock down somebody on this blue squad. Sayo does get caught. Smithy gets killed. All right, that's a start. That's exactly what the team needs. Pulse Bomb will get whiffed, but it is a 5v4 situation and an advantage here for the red squad. And Earthshatter, though, it's huge with the self-destruct bomb. It'll catch Hurricane. The bubble was able to protect another member of the blue side, but it won't protect Hurricane. Now we have the nano-boosted Savitar, but he gets slapped. A great play there by Brandon Pye. And now the Aesthetic Owl and really just this Tracer are the only ones left to try and hold on defense. Then Savitar joins the fray, knocks off Wacky Ferret, Liu Kayon, and Sayo will hold off. And honestly, I did think Azure would be able to get it there. Once they killed Smithy and then that great sleep on Savitar, I was like, they got to have this. Azure really kind of did exactly what they needed, but unfortunately, they just couldn't kill the D.Va and the Tracer early enough, and they were allowed to stay in that fight long enough to get the kills, and that translated into the point hold. A great play by Azure, but it came a little late.
Yeah, I mean, that opened my eyes. That was ridiculous. The coordination. Right when that wall came down, you saw just a spark of flame leave that wall, immediately jumping in, doing everything that their characters are good at. A distraction from the backline from Hammond, freezing from the front line with an initial ultimate that completely surprised the team. I completely agree. It felt like that they were going to win that, but oh man, and I also wish I could see more of that too.
Yeah, well, we'll see just a little bit more for however long it takes Llama to kind of steamroll Azure here, but I would love to see Azure potentially surprise Llama. We know Azure will definitely be flexible with their composition, whereas Llama has been pretty confident in running the same composition or similar compositions. You know, Savitar's been on that tank role, Smithy's been on the Genji, but we have actually, I take that back a little bit. We haven't seen Llama change. I mean, Aesthetic Owl has been like on tank, and then on the Mercy was playing D.Va earlier. Lee Hyokun was playing on the Ana, now the Zarya, not Jeff switching it up. So yeah, both teams actually being flexible here, but you can see that as of right now, Llama, their flexibility is paying off much more than it is for Azure, and now we'll see how quickly they can get this point A, or will it be Azure holding them off on defense?
Defend objective A.
And here comes the push. Sayo, last change there, going over to the Hammond. I like that. So, and they'll probably like it too when they see Thunderstorm there, because that's a character that can be pile drove on immediately, but the Pharah might be some trouble. Fantasy Moon really does have to get a bunch of kills here, but Lee Hyokun does get first blood. A big pile driver catches all five remaining members there, and look at that push right off of that one pile driver. The remainder of Llama goes in. They find the kills. Fantasy Moon is struggling to land direct shots, so that damage output's just not there to tip the scales back in Azure's favor. Brandon Pye goes down 2, and there it is, the 3-0 sweep by Llama.
Man, if there was ever a by-the-book play, that was just a beautiful recording of it. Just, it was just so smooth, so fluid.
Yep, that really was. And Smithy grabbing this play of the game, which is, you can easily see why. Gets the Mercy on top of that Bastion, finds the Ana, and that Dragon Blade. Oh, right through this bubble, too, makes it happen. So, a good try by Azure, though. It seems like they were a bit outmatched, but we definitely saw some fleeting moments of success. And honestly, I really think I don't think necessarily that they were out of it player or skill-wise. It was just their compositions kind of just didn't make sense a lot of the time. And I think going back to that team-building aspect of things might help them in the long run.
Yeah, completely agree. I think like with just enough time putting towards coordination, you could see some interesting things coming out, because they showed they were able to get I suppose a little bit of momentum going forward, but then that was completely stopped by what seemed to be a lot of practice and fundamentals coming from.
Absolutely. And now we have the continuation of the tournament, but because it is actually essentially all day here, we will be taking a pretty lengthy break here. We'll be back in about an hour. It'll be 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific here on this channel for our next matchup. And we'll be getting going live just about then. So if you want to see some more of ECS 2019 of myself and JJSkywalker on the mic, don't go anywhere, or go somewhere, take a break, get some snacks, and come back in about an hour, because we'll be casting the second match of the day. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in about an hour. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to ECS 2019, brought to you by eSportNet. I am Rapture, still here with JJSkywalker for our second match of the day. I believe it was Wombats versus, I forget the other team's name, but we will be seeing the two of them go at it in this best of 5.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Wombats versus Sheridan here, and and I mean, I'm hoping for a more leveled game. We're going to see coming out here. It's going to be these guys' first match, as you said, best of 5. We'll be seeing them here and seeing what they can bring out.
Yeah, the previous match was a pretty quick 3-0. About an hour ago, we saw Llamas take on Azure and very quickly defeat Azure in 3 maps. And we barely really got to see. We went to Nambani, first point hold. Went to Volskaya, first point hold. And then we went to Kings Row, first point hold. So this match, definitely hoping for a closer matchup here. It is a best of 5. First team to win 3 maps. We'll take it. We are going to Hollywood. And I would say for now, and this is obviously for the blue side, the Wombats, they want to try and get here onto or try and hold off the offense as long as possible so they can get Atlas's EMP on the Sombra. Quick. On the offense, though, are going to use that Pharah, use the D.Va, use the Winston to try and get in, get some damage, and get out. And the Jeff, of course, on the Doomfist. This is really just a really highly volatile, very highly mobile, bursty damage composition that the red side is running here, and that allows Sheridan to, looks like they're going to pick up this first point A pretty quickly.
Yeah, letter number on Farah is just in the sky, uncontested. Nobody's there to really deal with her. The worst threat there was Hyperion on Zarya, but nothing.
Yeah, right. You can see on the blue side here, Wombats, they're going for a slightly somber goats composition. So you don't usually have the Moira as well. You usually have Zenyatta instead of the Moira. Jehovah going Moira instead. But then you throw the Atlas down, so you have 2 tanks. Instead of running a D.Va, you run the Sombra. So this composition is good for the blue side. It's very tanky. It sticks together. It's very hard to break. And they use the EMP to give themselves leverage against the other team. For the offense, though, they're going to be going a composition that is pretty common for Hollywood Point A and beyond specifically because of the high skybox, because of the open areas that can be used by Doomfist and Pharah. It's pretty common. A nice Earth Shatter there for the Reinhardt. Letter number trying to even the scales here. Gets caught out by the hack. I believe that was an EMP actually from Atlas. And Hyperion and Combat Wombat are going to clean up. And that's a nice hold so far here for the Wombats.
Yeah, and a beautiful EMP. I mean, these guys, Wombats, are just taking full advantage of their power. It's all close range. It's all the ability to just do ridiculous amount of damage and sustain against heavy damage. They were able to do that initially, and with the EMP completely stomp, I'd say 2 ultimates.
Yeah, that's the win condition for Wombats. They want to get the EMP, they want to get the Earth Shatter, and use those things separately so they can get as much coverage as possible. Whereas the red side here, Sheridan, they're kind of just looking to get both their DPS ults and try and pop them as quickly as possible. And they can do that to an extent here, but they got to be careful about overextending. Thankfully, though, their team is still mostly together in this fight. Wombats, though, of course, as the composition requires, also sticking together. Self-destruct coming out from the D.Va. Datboy gets taken out. It doesn't have a huge effect on the fight, but nonetheless, Jeff getting that kill means there's no shield to hide behind. Hyperion going down, there's no bubble shield to hide behind. That's going to allow the remainder of Sheridan to start cleaning up this Wombat squad.
Yeah, and right now, Sheridan bobbing and weaving, not letting any form of action be taken against them. The moment one of them takes too much damage, they back out, let somebody else take up the front line, and the point slowly pushes to the end of phase.
And now already, I mean, JJ, you can see Sheridan already in the 3rd phase of the map. The payload has really only stopped for a few moments, and it's about to hit that 2nd checkpoint to enter the 3rd phase. Right now, Sheridan is just killing the trickling in defense. They're staggering in. Moira using an ultimate here. I would assume that's because Jehovah's going to switch, but it also could have been just to try and somehow sustain for a little while longer. I think they're going to stay on the Moira. They should have a Zenyatta, but Jehovah will stay. Nonetheless, Sheridan continuing to move forward. They're able to break through this Somber Goats composition here just with raw damage output and high mobility.
Yeah, Jeff is just power pushing there with the Doomfist, not letting anybody breathe for a second, and he's not being able to take down. Either way, both sides got a good amount of ultimate gain. We're probably going to be seeing some pretty big fights.
Yeah, and look how many ultimates you can see on the blue side Wombats. 5 ultimates to go. So that's another thing Sheridan wants to do right now. They want to try and get the defense to pop their ultimates. They want them to use it before the fight really gets going. So Lights use the rally, and now they want to try and bait out. The Graviton comes out. Oh, that didn't get eaten, but it doesn't seem to have a huge effect on the fight as a Transcendence comes out from Lethal. Combat Wombat still sitting on the sound barrier. So far, good job by Sheridan to slowly get these ultimates out, and what a great play. Lethal takes out Dat Boy as they're using the Earth Shatter. Now there's a Self-Destruct that comes out. That's not going to find a huge one. And then an EMP to Barrage combination. Unfortunately, letter number way too close to the ground, but that EMP hit the entirety of the Sheridan squad. Atlas, though, goes down to the Doomfist, so both teams still somehow in this fight here, despite the ultimates being burned, but that payload going slowly but surely to that final checkpoint.
Yeah, both teams equally wasting ultimates, going at each other as best as they can. Just the smallest whiff is allowing Sheridan to just push forward. Right now, they're holding on to that Valkyrie. Probably going to use it at the last second in order to do a push, but it looks like they'll be backing away, reconciling what they have, and pushing back in, no doubt.
You can see now Sheridan's Lethal getting closer and closer to this Transcendence. That'll be great to help them walk in onto the point, whereas the Wombats have nothing. And Atlas is pretty far from an EMP. Dat Boy can get an Earth Shatter. Dat Boy gets an Earth Shatter and hits a fat one. That'll give Atlas enough time to get an EMP. They got to get these kills now. There's the Valkyrie, and then look at that. Jeff comes out of nowhere and slams Atlas against the wall. 5v5 situation. Nova has to use the Moira ultimate there to try and break through. Resurrection comes in from Volcure, gets Fracture back into the fight here. And now a Barrage from letter number finds one, gets two. Graviton comes down as well, trying to keep the remainder of Sheridan away from the fight, but it doesn't work out too well. Letter number still popping off here on the far as Fracture picks up another one as well. Volcure staying alive. They need to get rid of this Mercy. The defense is nowhere to be found, and they are unable to touch in time. Dat Boy flying in the air, and the Hammond can't make it either. Sheridan will complete the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. Both teams seem to be very finely using their strengths. When it comes to Wombats, they're making sure that their tanks are nice and healthy, that Rally, Lucio barrier, and everything else, even Zarya barriers are being used to make sure that they stay even tankier than they are. But Sheridan is just playing that kind of, that poke game, that dive and then immediately leave kind of game, and it seemed to be very much picking away at those harsh defenses, inevitably getting them to the end.
Yeah. Honestly, because it's interesting because compositionally, the team that was suffering last game really didn't have like a set composition that you would consider standard or really effective. But in this game, the team that's at least losing so far is using a composition that works, that's proven to work. They just haven't been able to keep up with the Sheridan squad. They have found some pretty good moments, but really that payload was moving for a good amount of the time. Almost 2 minutes on the clock for Sheridan, so definitely a lot of work for this Blue Wombat squad here, as they will be on attack now. They got to beat that time clock, or at least, they at least complete the map, and I'm interested to see what composition they try to do to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I think it's because Sheridan, because of their more divey composition, they never allowed for great room of error. With the Death Ball, you're all stuck together. You're going to be taking hits. With Sheridan, your team is everywhere. They can jump in. Half of them can jump out even when half of the team is dead. So I'm thinking the ult economy might be changing a few things here.
Attackers incoming.
Yeah, it's very true. The dive composition that's more mobile doesn't have to commit as much, whereas oftentimes this other team, they're going to hesitate a little bit. The composition might, the Summer Goats composition might hesitate a little bit because they do have to kind of commit once they go in or engage. They won't always be able to get out, especially without a Zenyatta too, which I still think is very crucial. Not having the Transcendence is pretty big in a lot of situations here, and we'll see how it plays out. It's already point A being taken here slightly by the blue squad, but Wombats are going to take some percentage but not get that first third. They're losing bodies in the meantime, so that percentage gotten probably will completely be erased anyway and not be worth. You got to go and actually go after the other team. You can't try to just steal percentage away, and now for their efforts, no percentage of point A and almost a minute lost on the clock for Wombats.
Yeah, and Jeff, for a Bastion, he's switched from Doomfist to Bastion. He isn't staying still. He stays still, but the moment that he feels like his position's going to be pushed upon, he moves to another position to get a better vantage point. And it might work in their favor. I don't think Wombats noticed that the first go, so they might experience it.
And this is such a great compositional pick here for the red side. I mean, they have the Orisa, who can not only provide the shield, but force opponents into a position where Bastion always knows where they're going to be. It can easily melt them. Junkrat has a bunch of spam damage. It's a ton of spam damage. Roadhog contributes to it as well. Moira contributes to it as well. It's an all spam damage composition. And now look at that. Now that the offense is committed, they're going right into tank mode. A perfectly executed play. They make it look textbook right there. As easy as it was done, Sheridan cleans up the Wombats squad with a perfectly executed spam composition. Let them come to them, and then the Bastion tank composition cleans up.
Agreed. I mean, Sheridan just... Wombats have to be a little careful. Their ults aren't really coming into a very good kind of play range. It doesn't look like they're getting much damage or much worth in each of their pushes, so no doubt they're looking for a little bit of a difference or some traction.
I mean, they have Jehovah, who switched over from the Moira to the Pharah, and then Combat Wombat from the Lucio to the Moira, which I'm not sure why they would do that, because you do need this Lucio speed to kind of somehow rotate on this Bastion a little bit and be mobile and not get locked down. So they've lost speed. They've also lost another support here. So the EMP it lands on all 6 members of Sheridan. But will the follow-up be there? Datboy charges in. They had an Earth Shatter. They charged in. They might have gotten something, but they didn't get any kills. And then Letter Number picks up 3 from a trap and then a nice 2-piece off the Junkrat Riptire. A great play there from Sheridan, but Wombats kind of set themselves up for it. The EMP from Atlas was good, and it hit all 6 members of Sheridan, but then Datboy just charged in, dropped the shield so no one from Wombats could hide behind it, couldn't use the Earth Shatter, so they couldn't win off that, and it fell apart from there.
Yeah, and I mean, it just hurts to go into what comp they're running. I mean, Junkrat, as it is alone, to run into a small room like that, all the grenades, the potential traps, it's almost not going to happen. And it just seemed a little bit staggered. If they could have just moved a little bit quicker and a little bit more coordinated, we might have seen a little bit of different play there. But either way, they're probably going to try it again, holding onto the Earth Shadow. They have to use it somehow if they're about to get the barrage.
Yeah, that's the hard part here, right? Because you have to use it somehow, but they're on the high ground, and how do you get close enough to use the Earth Shatter and land it when you're on the low ground here? And of course, now through all that time, the Bastion tank configuration is ready to go again. Jehovah trying to pick it up. 3 kills, that was clutch, but Jep was right there to pick one up. Light finds the res. That was absolutely huge. Jehovah was so close to winning the fight there. That barrage got half of Sheridan, but the res still was not enough to hold off the rest of this team. Wombats, that was probably the closest they got to winning this fight here, JJ. They're still trying to make this happen. Datboy needs to let Earth Shatter. It doesn't look like it hit anybody. I think it might have hit somebody, but they were behind a wall, so there was no follow-up. Unfortunately, that Earth Shatter had a lot to remain to be desired there. Jehovah again trying to make something happen for Wombats, but really they're the only one right now that's doing that. 2 kills and just not enough. Sheridan will take the first map here in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, and descend on that Roadhog. I mean, at the end, even though Jehovah was able to get a good fair barrage, he kept pulling him in and just taking him out initially. Even there at the end, able to pull him out of the sky and take him out when he was doing a huge amount of it.
And there's the charge. You can see right there, Datboy charged in. No more shield. And where are you going to hide against this Riptire and the Junkrat spam damage? There's really nowhere to go. Found both Atlas and Light on the Somber Mercy, respectively. A good play there. Definitely seemed like it could be closer, but for now, Sheridan kind of walking away with things against their opponent's Wombats. We'll see. There's still a few more maps to go. This is a best of 5. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will tell you the next map, and we'll see what happens. Can the Wombats bring this back and tie up the series, or will Sheridan start to walk away with it? We'll find out on the other side of this break. welcome back, everybody. It is time for map 2 of our second match of the day here at ECS 2019, brought to you by eSports.net. I am Rapture here with JJ for Kings Row between Sheridan and the Wombats. Now, Sheridan on the red side, they've already won their first map. They took Hollywood pretty convincingly, completing the map and then a full hold on defense. And now they have an opportunity to extend their lead 2-0 here on Kings Row against the Wombats in blue. JJ, we saw right now that Sheridan is kind of walking away with this series already and might do so and continue to extend this lead on Kings Row. Who are you looking at on the Wombat side to try to change things up? Because I feel like Jehovah might be that player.
That's an interesting one, because I feel like every single player has done something that has kind of changed up the game. Hyperion's able to get his gravitons right on the point. The support ultimates are coming consistently, keeping the team alive and steady. I just feel like there needs to be a coordinated attempt between everyone to ensure that everything that comes along in Wombat's advantage is taken advantage of. At least that's my theory anyways.
Definitely agree with that. Jehovah going back on the Moira now, so won't be on that Pharah. Atlas, of course, is also a player to look for, as well as that boy. Both were linchpin players for the team last map, and we'll see how they work out here on Kings Row. Pretty aggressive push here for Sheridan. I mean, really just not being shy at all. They're going to walk right in, not even wipe their feet before walking in the door, and they already have half the point. Atlas trying to find some kills late, unfortunately, somewhat separated from the rest of the team. So now it's just the McCree and the Zarya unable to stay alive. Atlas does DMAC descend, but it's not going to be nearly enough. And there it is. In about 35 seconds, point A is taken by Sheridan. Now they have a ridiculous amount of time on the clock.
Beautiful aggression, beautiful Zarya play. There is just nothing they could do. Even running that McCree, the stuns had no effect in any form of aggression that was taken against them, just because those barriers feel like they're almost up 100% of the time the shield.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Fracture already picks up another one on Dat Boy, and now this push continues. Of course, this is the classic Kings Row strategy. You literally just continue to push the other team to their far spawn so you can just let the payload roll and get this second checkpoint very easily. So this is a standard Kings Row push. And Fracture, wow, just swinging away, holding mouse 1, and getting not only a bunch of kills, but a ridiculous amount of Earth Shatter charge for this next fight.
Yeah, and only a little bit of dents on his armor. A huge amount of plays going in there, and they've got just a huge economy coming for them. Every single ultimate just about to hit up, except for Diva and Zarya.
Fracture getting closer and closer to the Earth Shatter. Letter Number has the Bree. Oh, wow. Dat Boy almost getting knocked off the map, but Letter Number falls down into the pit. Earthshatter goes down and hit 4 members of the team, and then Fracture almost got catapulted into the pit, but stays alive nonetheless. Dat Boy used theirs as well. Fracture again almost falling, and there it is, the payload making it to the second checkpoint without Wombats able to touch it. So 5 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock for Sheridan. They are in a ridiculous amount of control right now, and they have the ultimate lead.
Yeah, those support ultimates are just going to make it hard, but Fracture going down immediately. It's got finally a push coming through. A beautiful Graviton, but a Transcendence to hold them back. I'm not sure how much it'll do. The shield barrier is keeping them alive, but the team is staggered, and this might be finally a hold from this.
Yeah, I was going to say that might not have been enough. The Graviton, great crowd control ultimate, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee you the damage to get the kill. But Sheridan, not wanting to give the other team more ult charge, not wanting to give them some more kills, no reason to waste their own. They backed up on their own. One more player died, but they got the majority of the team out without giving up more ult charge. Now Sheridan regrouped, is going to push up behind this Rhine shield. Now Atlas has the self-destruct, so if Sheridan does overextend, the self-destruct's going to come out. There it is. It drops out behind, and Lethal Doran does get picked off. The Rhine shield won't be in position. Hyperion also finds one, so Wombat's pushing up and getting another fight win.
Yeah, and I mean, they're going to be pushing up aggressively, trying to get. I was about to say the fight didn't feel like there was too much of a gain there, but now dealing out the damage, they're able to get the rotations going, and yeah, I'd say even up that.
Yeah, this is a good look for Wombats for sure. I mean, they are at least right now they're looking comfortable ult-wise. They have the position they've been holding for the past minute or so. They have the payload around the corner, so they can use that for cover. Really, they're looking good. They just got to avoid the crowd control that Sheridan's ready with. They have both the Graviton and the Earth Shatter. There's the Graviton. Hyperion, it's actually from Hyperion, then Hyperion goes down. It's a big loss. So and then an Earth Shatter, a massive one. Fracture tries to even the odds and does so. Datboy is only able to kill Fracture, and Datboy evening the odds there. Fracture gets one. Self-destruct goes down, and both teams just trying to hit the Q as effectively as possible here. And Wombats starting to bleed. They're trying to slow the bleeding here, but there's a Graviton from Jeff along with the rally from Letter Number. Jehovah use the Transcendence to keep themselves alive. Then Combat Wombat follows up with the Sound Barrier to do the same. Atlas closer and closer to self-destruct, but doesn't have it just yet. But Descend is very far away from theirs. Letter Number goes down low, but still gets back into this fight. Volcure is closer, Sound Barrier. That'll be the next ultimate they have as Jeff and Letter Number find kills. They also have the Reinhardt Fracture in the corner with the Discord Orb on them. They go down. Big pickoffs there. Payload getting closer and closer. Wombats trying to hold on. The self-destruct comes out, finds Lethal Dorn again. 2 for 2. But will it be enough, JJ? I'm not sure. It looks like this payload's still in full control of Sheridan, and they're going to push this through once they kill the Bree and the Diva.
Yeah, I mean, reinforcements are coming. They're right from behind. Wombats needed to make this work. 3 support ultimates down, especially with the Diva. Reinhardt isn't anywhere near, and the defense is about to crumble. They're possibly going to come out. Zarya holding as best as he can. There might be just a slight push, but no. Sheridan able to get a full map push through.
Yep, this Sheridan again completing the map as they did on the previous one there. And they had a little more trouble, though. That was actually a pretty solid look there for the Wombats, and that was probably the first time we've seen like an actual defensive hold really for them in like a substantial manner. And they were doing it against the team that so far has looked very good, very strong. So Wombats definitely not out of this just yet. They do have to complete this point. They can't be full held again, because if they're full held for a second time in a row, mentally that's going to be very hard to play that third map.
I mean, yeah, completely agree. It's a difficult thing to have the majority of your strategies just completely wailed on it. It's not only a question of like a mechanical play, but then it becomes a kind of like a psychological play at that point. But it was difficult when it came to Wombats. I suppose I was just slightly disappointed because they kept their ults going in a steady way, even though they weren't able to gain them consecutively. They were able to not waste them too far, if you will. At that end of the phase 3, they wasted all 3 support ultimates for one fight. They needed to make that work, but it just didn't.
Yeah, and now there's an opportunity for them to change their composition and come in with something different. But it looks like instead Wombat's kind of running something very similar. Jehovah is going to the Zenyatta like that. Atlas on the Widowmaker. So on offense, this goes back to the beta days, running Widowmaker on first point A, but Atlas quickly going over to Diva afterward. I think really what's interesting compositional wise is the defense. They have a Reaper Letter Number, and they have Volcure on the Ana. They have a Mei as well. So they're going to use the Mei wall to isolate members of the other team and then get kills with their big tanks and the Reaper, and that's literally what just happened right there. Letter Number goes down, their body ragdolls into the air, but it will be a fight win once again for Sheridan.
Yeah, difficulty in the run too. Even with the ice wall not going in the perfect placement, it cut off a good amount of the team's damage. You've got an Ana in the background doing ridiculous amounts of heals, a Zarya to make sure you don't die. They need to figure out some way to get past that, and it looks like their answer might be.
Oh, and Sheridan now holding true together. You can see how the Reaper and the Mei holding in the hotel area, trying to take cover. Volcure all the way in the back, doing a lot of damage to this Mercy. The Mercy has to go to the ground. The Descend picks up the kill. That's huge. Now Sheridan knows they don't have to worry about a resurrection. Fracture with the Earth Shatter that takes out a bunch of the front line. Lelodoran goes down. Atlas finds Letter Numbers. 5v4 situation here. Sheridan can't afford to lose any more members here, JJ.
What a turnaround! 1 second, it was being pushed back. The ice wall seemed to have gotten them, but it was a little bit awkward. And now they're being slightly pushed back. And a barrier, an earth shatter blocked. And right now, both of them trying to fight over the point with ice, just completely freezing everything over. They still got the flare in the sky. Damage is going through. A majority of the damage is long range. Wombats are looking.
Yeah, the coalescence from Combat Wombat was big. Well, Hyperion goes down a little uncharacteristically right there. Volkir got really picked off by Jehovah in that fight. Now Jehovah finds another one on letter number. As this fight continues, we will get a few members of reinforcements here for Sheridan, but because they don't have any actual position on the point, anytime someone comes in, they're most likely going to be focused down by multiple members of the blue squad of the Wombats. So you can see that happening right now. Wombats in full control. Not only that, they have just about half of point A.
Yeah, and they're just staggering. They're constantly moving the members that are much more resilient in there, either with the Zara barrier or moving Atlas, making sure he can get those ranges. But Jeff, I think the biggest thing here is Jeff has been holding Atlas back from being able to use his sightlines correctly. But finally, we're seeing distance, last person on Sheridan down, and it looks like they're going to be in phase 1.
Yeah, Atlas very effective on that Widowmaker. Probably so far the best performance we've seen on a character from Atlas, I think. And it makes sense. This Widow, there we go. There's another one. Speaks for herself right there. Atlas, another big pickoff, very effective. Doesn't have to flank or anything or be too overcommittal. Just taking out bodies from afar.
Yeah, and even though the main might have been a good counter to those sidelines for a small amount of time, Jeff's going to be switching to the Doomfist, and it looks like they're going to be trying a few different things.
Yeah, we have Payload already moving pretty substantially down this map. Not as crazily pushed as we saw from their opponents in the last attempt, but Wombats are getting it going. Earthshatter goes down, and it doesn't look like it hit anybody on that opposing team. Wombats are like, all right, let's keep going. Now there's the Death Blossom from letter number. Hyperion again putting themselves down for the count, and Wombat is going to get bodied for that fight. Jehovah takes out letter number, but it's too little too late, and that will be a hold for the first time in a little while here for the defense in red Sheridan.
I love the confidence in Sheridan that in the switches, they didn't consider, I suppose, any form of Kitsan. I mean, now we're seeing in letter numbers going to actually be switching to Hanzo, but initially they didn't seem to want to counter them.
Yeah, letter number going Hanzo. They're definitely looking for the Dragon Strike Graviton Surge combination with letter number and Descend on the Hanzo and Zarya respectively. They also have a Doomfist too. Jehovah picks off 2 with the Barrage, and then a 3rd with Lethal Doran going down. A 4th, Hyperion gets the kill after a great stun coming out from Atlas. And then Atlas gets a kill of their own on letter number. So there's that payload moving forward just under the 2-minute mark. Still, though, a bunch of time for the Sheridan squad to get back in and recontest.
Yeah, I mean, next up, we're going to be seeing Wombats probably trying to use that Earth Shatter to the best of their ability. I feel like there's going to be a contest, but it's going to be a very harsh one since they still have a lot of distance.
Yeah, exactly, and both teams are somewhat low on ultimates too, so it's just going to be a raw fight out here. Oh, Volkir getting very close to land that Mercy. Combat Wombat looks like they're the only one that really got hurt by that Earth Shatter there from Fracture. Now there's the Nano Boost coming down. Fracture trying to look to make the most of it here. And it looks like they will. Letter number finds that boy, steals the kill. 0.17 meters. And unfortunately for Wombats, they are unable to get that second checkpoint in that fight.
As close as it's going to get. I thought I heard the point captured sound bit, but wow. I was literally right at the edge, able to go in, using the Nano Boost to just chunk Fracture back to full HP, dish out all that damage. There's still a good ways to go here, and right now, Sheridan has good ult.
And Fracture getting closer and closer to another Earth Shatter here, going in further. Letter number, headshots light. A nice charge reaction from Dat Boy, and then a Graviton goes down. Fracture took so much damage during that charge trade there, unable to stay alive longer. Letter number on Dat Boy. But 30 seconds still remain on the clock. Sure, Wombats are finding kills here and there, but they got to do much more than that in a quicker pace to actually finish this map, or at least get the second checkpoint.
Yeah, agreed. Barely 20 seconds left. This is definitely going to be the last push, and they've got a lot of sneak ultimates coming in. High Noon's no doubt going to be a big one, but he has to keep sightlines. Fair Barrage is going to be a nasty one, but Dragon might just halt all this together.
Oh, and that high noon, way too much to break through. Earthshatter gets caught on the shield. Stuns abound. Graviton helping out. There's a big barrage from Jehovah. And that's exactly what Wombats needed right there. Jehovah waiting to use the barrage until these tanks both got stunned. Sneaks it in, the tail end of that fight, and helps usher that point, that payload that is, to the second checkpoint.
Yeah, having a little bit of connection issues, but yeah, no, I saw that. The play was so well, it literally knocked me out of the game. The Jehovah coming from the backline is always the surprise, always the scare. An extra minute on the clock. These guys need to get some form of traction when it comes to the ultimates that they just wasted to get the distance in the face.
And Atlas, has the Hanzo. Letter number in their sights that they go down. Atlas still running wild here on the Widowmaker, looking for more. Tries to get rid of the Lucio, but Lethal Doran gets out of dodge. Now has the mine on the back line. Trying to put some damage, so much damage going down on the Moira, making it hard for the back line of Sheridan to peek. And a great shot on Lethal Doran. Letter number will take him out, but Atlas will get, looking for the res is light, but they get picked up by letter number 2. A great play by the Hanzo. And then the Sen finds Dat Boy. That was such a huge loss because now we're down to below 30 seconds on the clock. And Hyperion is the only player on the blue side that has the ultimate. Now Combat Wombat joins them. Dat Boy's about to have theirs. But JJ, very little time left on the clock.
It's going to be a scary one. 10 seconds left. This is exactly where they want to be. The points at the end of phase 3. Earthshatter going through, but nothing got in. The shields are going down. Sorry, but Graviton getting the entire team. Coalescence destroying everyone. Oh, but a dragon coming right from behind, though. All the kills are in Wombats.
Oh, that was so unfortunate there. The letter number Dragon Strike just wasn't there in time to get the kills off of Descent's Graviton, and Descent's Graviton didn't really get enough members of Wombats into it, so the combo that they really needed, their win condition, not there. There's a big Earthshatter, puts a couple of members of the blue side on their backs. Overtime will tick away, but it looks like Wombats will be able to finish off this map. They will do so with no time on the clock. Can the defense stagger and get in time? They need a big play from letter number. That goes down. Rapture trying to get in here with the ham, and here's the self-destruct coming out to end things, seal the deal. Atlas, no kills there, and still not over, but finally the Earthshatter from Dat Boy will finish things off, and Wombats will walk it in overtime, but they walk it in nonetheless.
A little bit scary one. You never want that Hammond to gain traction, and that's what he immediately answered with an Earthshatter. But that was a scary one. 2 minutes, 42 seconds that they have to I suppose, coalesce all the knowledge that they've had so far and try to do something against Sheridan.
Yeah, it's right now I think this is. I'm liking that this is a lot closer. It's still, I would still say that Sheridan has the advantage, right? They obviously posted the better time, but their synergy definitely is a bit higher. But that being said, this is great. Both teams finishing the map. It's the first time we've seen that today, really. It's really been a stomp for the, this is the 5th map we've seen this weekend, and the first 4 maps were stomps. This is the first time we're actually seeing a 3rd round, so I'm excited for that. And there's still an opportunity here for the Wombats to kind of bring this back. But remember, they essentially have to play almost perfectly here because they have no time on the clock, so they have to hold on defense. That's their only opportunity to come out of this. They gotta hold on defense and hope for a tie. And I think that's why it was being asked in game chat what that would be, because if it's first to 3, this tie is not a win for anybody. But if it's best of 5, that counts as a game. So it might count towards the other teams. If there's a tie here, then Sheridan gets one more win, it'll be over. So this is really huge. Wombats might actually kind of be screwed in that way, where they really do need to win this, but a tie will be better than a loss. 2 minutes on the clock. Sheridan can certainly make this happen, and they already have half the point. Letter numbers popping off on the Pharah, has 2 tanks catapulted in the air. Jeff will steal those kills, but I guess with the uppercut it was worth it, and not only worth it, it was earned by them. Here comes the Meteor Strike. And it's JJ, I think this might be it. Hyperion gets on the board for 2, but could it be enough?
It might be. Hyperion is just super high charge. He's keeping directly. He's not going down, even though 2 people are on him. But now, finally going down. The point's going through, but we still got a brigade on point. Reinforcements coming through. Mines holding the way, but people just jumping straight over. Both teams kind of staggering a bit. Right now, Sheridan looking to still go back in, but they don't have their full team. Fracture going down in midair, and it looks like, wow, Wombats able to...
Yeah, this is Wombats, again, looking good on defense. But Sheridan, they still have a lot of time on the clock. They still have at least 1 more fight attempt, potentially 2. And letter number, we know how effective they can be on the barrage. Has that barrage ready to go. Definitely be looking at letter number. Descend and Valkyrie have theirs as well, and only 1 ultimate for Combat Wombat here for the blue side. There's the self-destruct coming out. Descend trying to get things going, doesn't find Pater. There's a Transcendence from Lethal Doran. Now letter number trying to get in position. They want to get rid of the Diva first. They don't get Defense Matrix, and it works out. Finds the Lucio, finds the D-Mac Diva, and there it is. The win condition was met for Sheridan. They got the barrage in the position they needed. They got rid of the Diva, and then they hit Q. And Sheridan going to be able to clean this up, as Jehovah is the last remaining survivor for that tribe. Sheridan picking up another win. Now there's no doubts about it. They are up 2-0.
Yeah, and it's just difficult for Wombats there. Sheridan had such a much more vertical composition, and they had a comp that just tackled things anywhere at the close to medium range. So when it came to mechanical advantage, it was not with...
Wow. What a play of the game there by Jehovah. Just the classic flank from behind and use your ultimate move. So great. I mean, that's a great start would be an understatement here. A 2-0 lead in a best of 5 here for the squad of Sheridan. Jeff with that 67 kill percent marking there. A great play. And now we have another move. We'll be going to another map too. Let's see what Wombats pick. Don't go anywhere, though. On the other side of this break, more ECS 2019 coming your way. Welcome back, everybody, to ECS 2019, brought to you by Esports.net. And we have our third map of this set so far. It is the Sheridan squad up against Wombats. Sheridan's in red, Wombats in blue. And we are moving on to Dorado for our third and potentially final map. Because if Sheridan wins it, the series will be over. JJ, moving on to this third map. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I suppose the biggest thing is I'm just thinking of different ways Wombat could bring it in. Maybe pick away at the aggressive attacks coming from Sheridan. They've definitely showed up in these maps coming forward. They've shown what they got, but I want to see Wombats dominating, bringing in their own, I suppose, plans of attacks and being on the attack, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see. We have, again, Sheridan, which means, because they're in the red, that they will be attacking first. And they're going with a composition that should be pretty familiar for anyone who's already watched this team. Jeff going on the Doomfist, letter number back on the Pharah. A very highly mobile damage, burst damage kind of composition here.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, they're just getting barraged from all corners, using sidelines to the best of their abilities. Wombats are just trying to veer in between the buildings, making sure they're not taking too much damage. They've stalled the point at this area, and it looks like both teams are going to be looking for ways to...
Oh, and Atlas picks up 2, shuts down both DPS of the red squad. Descend gets demeched. And that's a big win there. Sheridan losing their damage dealers. There's no way to really just win through that. And then Dat Boy cleans it up with the swings.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wombats doing tons more damage than they were before. The Zarya berries went down so fast. Even with Sheridan getting a lot of charge from that, it really didn't matter. The moment any tank touched the ground, they were stunned, taken out, and moved on to the next.
On to the next one. Letter number 75%, getting closer to a barrage that'll be, it has been clutch in the past, will be clutch for them again, certainly. But they have to worry about Atlas. I mean, that's the ultimate that channels keeps you in place. Atlas can easily just poke out from somewhere, rip a high noon, and kill that far mid-barrage, even before the barrage even gets out. So, certainly have to take care of that McCree first. But the McCree is taking care of them. Atlas on this McCree picks up 2 kills, and Jehovah translates a third. It'll be a 6v3 situation here. And Sheridan, very much so, regretting having pushed in there. They've lost half their team. They're still trying to poke here. The letter number already has their ultimate. They don't need to poke any further, really. In fact, it's about a prime rage. Really, Sheridan just waiting for these ultimates to be ready, and then they're going to go in.
The biggest difference here is Wombats just abusing that Discord damage. But right now, I feel like Sheridan is putting that monkey alone for a little bit too long. They were probably looking more for ultimates, as currently they do have a good amount of...
Oh, Barrage gonna come out. I thought was gonna come out, but I think he realized that Atlas had their number and hesitated, or not hesitated, but just smartly didn't use it, but was unable to get to cover to get away from the death blows. So, letter number gonna have to try yet again. Still has the Pharah. I think they're contemplating making changes here. Letter number not gonna do it. Instead, Jeff is gonna move from the Doomfist to the Zarya, looking probably just for a Graviton to secure and guarantee these barrage kills.
Yeah, a harsh change. Just trying to figure out what's best, trying to get the team close enough to be able to abuse those ultimates. But we were seeing it on both sides. Both teams ready to just dish out stupid amounts of...
Oh, okay. Letter number not going to wait for Jeff to build up the Graviton. And really, I mean, they don't have much choice because there's less than a minute left in the game. They really had to use the barrage. Unfortunately, that barrage was just way too close to the ground, gets picked off and killed immediately. And now letter number is going to move over to the Bree. And with 30 seconds or so on the clock, Sheridan, I mean, this is actually the first time we've seen the team that's been dominated themselves here, JJ. And now we could potentially be going to multiple games, not just 3 maps, but maybe more, 4 or 5, as Sheridan might not be able to even get the first checkpoint here.
Atlas's accuracy is harsh to par, and right now it looks like Sheridan is looking for a much more ground assault, get away that time lag that all these buildings allow in their verticality. They're trying to just stay on the point, gather up what they can since they gave up a good amount of ultimates, and see what...
Oh, you gotta do something about Atlas here. And then the Earth Shatter at the same time as the finish of the High Noon. Sheridan still, despite that, weathers the storm and picks up 2. Letter number swinging away, providing a bunch of heals and getting heals themselves, getting lower than HP time and time again. It's an absolute just smorgasbord of color in front of the payload. And overtime ticking away, Sheridan still having trouble breaking through up against Nano Boosted Reinhardt. Combo Wombat goes down though, now followed by Light. 64 situation, 6v3, Descend finds one on Hyperion. Letter number continuing to bolster the front line. I think this might be enough here, JJ. This payload might be getting to the first checkpoint as Sheridan just forcing back the blue squad. Wombats unable to contest, and that should be... Oh, it looked like Dat Boy would be able to charge in. Might have been able to do it 0.01 seconds, but got caught up and put down for the count.
Yeah, Hyperion and Jehovah not able to find their targets. I guess their targets are a lot more chunkier now, have a lot more shields, so they're not dying as quickly, and it may have surprised them, may have been a little bit of a surprise. It was definitely a surprise to us, since it definitely seemed like Wombats had this in the bag, but they're already pushing into phase 2, and they're going to get some good distance.
Yeah, this is now, you know, Sheridan has the momentum. They have, I guess, in a way, positional advantage because of that, and they also, at least we can see the defense isn't taking the high ground just yet. Sheridan has the payload, they have the extra cover, and then once they get around this corner, they'll be looking good. A Graviton comes out here from Hyperion, and Combat Wombat can use the sound barrier if need be, but instead it's going to be the rally that comes out from Light first. Earthshatter comes down, Jeff gets caught in it, but that's about it. Now Self-Destruct has to pick up the slack, doesn't, and Letter Number continues to move forward with the rest of the squad. Sheridan, with 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock, are now losing to Atlas's Diva. Before it was Jehovah popping off, but now Atlas doing very, very well on the McCree, and then now the Diva. And this is, I mean, it almost looked like this is a brand new squad here. They're going back to the Sombra Goats, but now they have Jehovah on the Zenyatta instead of the Moira, and this is looking a lot better for the Wombats.
Yeah, agreed, and even for Sheridan as well. I was gonna say it's sad that they switched so late, but this it seems like the switch they needed. They're able to tank out Atlas's accuracy a lot better, but it might not still be enough with that Discord in tow. They're just going down very quickly, backing away, looking for their sixth member, and no doubt they're going to be coming in with some form of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're definitely going to see what the Red Squad has to offer, only off of 3 ultimates. It might not be enough, but it could absolutely be the key to the door that needs to be unlocked here for the Red team. A great charge by Fracture. Oh, Letter Number and Jeff also getting on the board. 63 situation. Here's a grab. Oh, Self-Destruct coming in from behind. The D-Mech and the kill. Great play. 1-2 combination. And look at that, Sheridan. They just won't quit. They're not done with this map just yet. They got to get rid of Mortal Kombat Wombat. I almost said Mortal Wombat. That's actually, someone should take that name. Overtime ticking away. The defense will be able to touch, but this payload might be able to get this. Actually, not only this checkpoint might be reached, but they can win this map with some time. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Transcendence popped out, making sure the team is alive. We still got Earthshatter, we still got Diva Bomb, no doubt. Going to be used in the middle of these teams. Graviton pushing Wombats, or Sheridan rather, into kind of like a pickle as they're going around, trying their best to deal through not only this tank, but this.
That was huge. That was a really big shot. Oh, Earthshatter comes down. That hits 2 members. Jeff and Descend get caught in that Earthshatter. And I think that's it. Yeah, overtime ticks down. And round 1 will be a just before second checkpoint hold for the Wombats. A great turnaround after being down the first 2 maps against Sheridan.
What switches? I mean, we were looking at Wombats and with Atlas just dishing out dumb amounts of damage to low HP heroes, not allowing them to be able to do anything, or combining that accuracy with Discord to make tanks seem like nothing. Then it got switched around, forcing Atlas to go into the Diva, and then kind of switching it up so that it can be much more of a tanky dive. I'm liking the switches coming out from these teams, and also just that willingness.
Well, now, JJ, honestly, I think this is anyone's series. I thought Sheridan was going to give us another 3-0. I thought we'd have another long break, and now it looks like this could be not just a match, not just a map, but a series, and this could potentially go the distance.
Yeah, agreed. I'd rather not Caster's Curse it, to be honest. I'd love to see the beauty of that just happen. But yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. We're that path is definitely.
Yeah, that path has definitely opened up for them for sure. And not only that, they might be going for a 7-man team here. And by that, I mean the red squad, Sheridan, they got Jeff on the Ashe. They got Ashe, they got Bob. That's a 7-man squad. And that might be what's necessary to hold off Wombats, who have now found another fire in their engine right now. They found another coal to drop onto that coal bed and keep things stoked up as they move out on offense for their attempt. All they got to do, they don't even have to complete the map here, JJ. They just got to get to before the second checkpoint. That is totally a doable task for this team. And Sheridan going to try and go back to their spam composition. A slight differentiation here, though. Instead of the Roadhog, they're going with the Ashe. And Jeff on that Ashe gets first blood.
Yeah, and I mean, right now that's just the big thing. The tank killer, Ashe in the background. Oh wow, Bob already coming in, taking out 2 members of the team. That's probably going to be a stop push for Wombats, but they've got just so much to go through. Junkrat, not only Junkrat traps, but Junkrat grenades and all in between.
What did I say, man? That Jeff adds a Bob, and you got 7-man squad. Like, that Bob came in so quickly. That's one of the fastest Bobs I think I've ever seen in a game. And Jeff gets 2 kills off that Bob. A huge wipe, and now Sheridan looked like they were faltering on this map, unable to complete it on their own. They might be doing an even harder hold against their opponents, but Jeff doesn't want to overextend, gets the attention of the Winston, falls back towards behind the Orisa. Holding on, they need to build an ultimate. That's the key here, is that if Sheridan doesn't lose anybody, they will be ahead of the ultimate game. Atlas moving over to the Genji while Jehovah's on the Tracer, trying to get this damage output a little higher for the blue squad, but Sheridan still holding on strong, especially with the help of this Mercy bulk here. While there's no mercy, I repeat, no mercy for the Wombats, that might kind of pay off here for the Sheridan squad, not have to worry about Reds. Jeff, again, another kill, this time on Dat Boy, lethal going low. And this is Glitter number finds one. Sheridan all of a sudden decided to start playing here.
Yeah, and I want to say Wombats might be realizing something too, that the biggest thing with dive on this map that Sheridan also saw is the time lag. Having to jump over that wall and then also get your team through that death corridor that is where the payload goes through. It isn't easy, and especially against the composition they're going through, I don't think it's going to happen.
And now if you look at the clock, 1 minute and 45 seconds here for Sheridan to hold on, and they'll win the series. This is all of a sudden went from a map that looked like Wombats' map to Sheridan back in control. Jeff asking for Bob to get some jobs done, and Bob doesn't find those kills. In fact, Jeff goes down, and Bob's struggling to break through this shield that's very well placed by Dat Boy. Throws down the shield right down the lane in the middle, so that way Bob couldn't shoot down from behind because the shield was in the way. So great play there. Minute and 13 seconds on the clock, but we are getting closer and closer to that checkpoint.
Sheridan just keeping those shields rotated, making sure they're not taking too much damage. But again, this corridor, it's impossible. They're trying their best. They're pushing their team through, but they know that they can't stay over there for long, or they're going to take too much damage. Dat Boy trying to pierce through Zarya barrier as well as Monkey barrier, trying to get it through, jumping towards that backline. Monkey in order to push the team back. Finally, Recompense going through for one.
Wow, Dat Boy was so low. I didn't even think he got the Primal Rage off at time, but somehow he did. And now without it, he's having trouble fighting this Orisa, but then he gets bolstered up, and then Light steals the kill. That Coalescence definitely helped from the Moira as well. The Coalescence from Jehovah. And now 30 seconds of the clock. Wombats back in this. They've got a little bit of momentum after that fight win. They're also going to get the stagger on Descend. That's a huge, huge pick there, delaying that tank's respawn. And they'll also be able to get Jeff as well. So it looks like the stagger here, they're going to continue to stagger on this. Instead of fighting as a team, it looks like instead Sheridan opting to try and contest in time. But now that might have actually been a huge mistake because they staggered. They might not be able to reconvene in time to get one more clean fight win. They got to avoid losing players one by one, because if they don't, this could still be Wombats' map to win.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it, but they tackled it head first. Dat Boy, he was literally a fraction of HP. I agree with you. It seemed like that might have been lost. If he didn't monkey, that would have probably been the loss. But they continue to move forward, piercing away currently at Sheridan's.
Oh, Dat Boy jumps up onto the high ground there. Now jumps back down, 89, 90. Getting closer and closer to that Primal Rage. Should be good to go to move in, but they have a self-destruct to worry about. Pops the Primal Rage. Graviton comes down. Now it's just it's just big pickings here for Dat Boy, but can't get the kill with a great Transcends that comes out from Lethador and just in time. Valkyr also with the Valkyrie to help team this, top this team off. Jeff with the Bob. Meanwhile, Dat Boy isolating the Ana, but Dat Boy is being distracted. Dat Boy trying to kill the Junkrat, but the Junkrat's pocketed by the Mercy, and Letter Number gets the kill. Dat Boy, that might have been a really big mistake there, but the rest of the team picks up the slack, and Valkyr gets killed on the res opportunity. I think that actually might be it. Sheridan nowhere to be found, and that payload's moving in. We might be going to a map 4, less than 4 meters to go, and Wombats have done it. They put their foot down. And this series is not over just yet, as Wombats finally get a win on the board and push the series to 2-1 for Sheridan.
Fascinating. I got to put huge amount of works to Dat Boy. Glad he got that play of the game. Sadly, not on the monkey, but on his right.
Yeah, no, Dat Boy, I mean, there were some suspect moments, but otherwise Dat Boy played very consistently and had a lot of damage done, a lot of block damage, I believe, as well. So Dat Boy was definitely one of the better, definitely one of the standout players that game. Jeff as well. Not Jeff, as Light as well. And now we're moving on to another map because we can see the Wombats still have some life in them. Yeah, and it looks like we are going to be going to a short break. Sorry to cut you off there, my man. A short break, and then we'll be coming back with map 4 in this series. Welcome back, everybody, to ECS 2019. I'm Rapture here with JJSkywalker for our 4th map of this series. We are still viewing the Wombats versus Sheridan matchup, and in this matchup, Sheridan, I thought this was going to be a 3-0 as we were going into the first 2 maps. Sheridan took those first 2 maps pretty convincingly. Kings Row maybe not as convincingly, but it was definitely seemed to be in Sheridan's control. But then something changed, and all of a sudden it was Wombats all day. It was Wombats' game to lose last map, and they did not. They did succeed and take the map, forcing us to a map number 4, and if they get another one, we could go into a rubber match. We could be going to a tiebreaker, so we'll see. Lijiang Towers, the map. JJ, certainly Wombats are looking much better here. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, Wombats were clearly taking huge advantage of Atlas's accuracy, but then they switched it up, realizing they don't need his accuracy. They just need his really good, I suppose, aggressive and suppressing play. They abuse that, combine coordination with their ultimates, making that time lag much less when they go in and disrupt ultimates. Dat Boy, making sure his monkey is just being hugely aggressive, hugely annoying. It's working in their favor. as we're seeing right now. That boy actually goes down immediately. We're looking at Sheridan pushing up, already on 0-1. They're using that line of sight, not allowing themselves to be able to be kind of aggressed upon by Wombats' current plan to take them down 1-for-1, getting the point at the very beginning.
And I'm sure Sheridan is happy to have that map selection ability. Of course, the team that loses the previous map will be able to pick their own. So because Sheridan lost the previous map, I'm not surprised that they went to control. They've shown that like their DPS output is very consistent, and they can pop off with a number of characters. So going to control, which is very much like a deathmatch situation a lot of the time, seems to kind of play more towards their strengths. And we'll see how Wombat can kind of hold up against that. Atlas was showing a lot of great moves on DPS. Jehovah as well. So it's not like Wombat doesn't have the same tools available. Really, we'll just see if these tools can be used as efficiently as they have been by Sheridan.
Yeah, agreed. They just have a little bit of harshness going in there. A Jack on the Reaper is going to make it hard. Whoa, that cap. That was a little scary there. Already getting like 1/3 of the way there. I don't think they're going to be able to abuse what they gained, but that was a close one if they attacked.
Yeah, it's really just Sheridan has this all blocked off. Hyperion, another self-destruct there, and not in an ultimate way, but more like taking themselves out way, getting themselves another death self-done. That's like the 4th or 5th time I think this series where Hyperion's kind of unfortunately ended their own life by their own volition, so definitely something to avoid. Meanwhile, Dat Boy getting closer to a Primal Rage ultimate, which will help try and sustain on the next contest here, but really you can just see how hard it is for this Wombat squad to break in on defense. Sheridan is really just getting free percentage here until finally we get a contest here. Fracture with the Earth Shatter, finds 2, gets slept, gets poisoned, and now trying to fight for their lives. Letter Number has a sound barrier, right? Or has a sound barrier from Light, even though Light went down. Fracture with the charge again. Lighter Number still sitting on the barrage, but I mean, this is going to be a very clean win here for Sheridan. I think JJ is already at 93%.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's not cut out for Wombats right now. They have to get close to be able to do anything, and getting close just puts Sheridan in their full kind of efficiency mode. Right now, Farah pushing out the barrage, and a majority of Wombats looks down.
That was a big barrage, but most of it got eaten by Hyperion. That being said, no one actually killed Letter Number while the barrage was happening, so unfortunately, the Matrix was there, but the follow-up was not. Now there's the Primal Rage I mentioned earlier, but Dat Boy can only really use it to contest when it's a little too late, and they jump off the point and get killed as the point is captured. 100-0 for Sheridan. They take it, and now they are on match point right here. All they have to do is win one more round of Lijiang, and they will take the series 3-1.
It's hard for me to say. Wombats, I want to say that their first fight didn't go too well for them. They might have wanted a little bit more when it came to damage or staggering, but they went down a little bit too quickly, and from there, the snowball just went through. These Koth maps are harsh when it comes to that dive play, because if you're not able to do anything, if you're not able to get close to the enemy and do any form of impact, it almost feels like a stagger, or rather it is a stagger.
No, you're absolutely not wrong there. We'll see if Wombats can change things up and not necessarily, get caught staggering too much. So you need to get clean fights out here, JJ. You can't be staggering in and letting the other team just get free percentage. And look at that. What a great Maywall there from Letter Number, cutting off the back line from the rest of the Wombat squad. Skinjack gets the D-back on the Atlas. Despite being Discord Orb, Jeff continues to move forward as well. And now you can see, in control of the point as it unlocks, is Sheridan, who's already getting some percentage. Skeleton Jack and Fracture getting killed. Skeleton Jack, a sub for the Sheridan team, gets on the Reaper and unfortunately doesn't have the impact they needed, as Dat Boy and Hyperion, the tank line of this Wombat squad, pulverizing Sheridan and helping facilitate a first point capture.
Double AoE heals helped tremendously, even though it looked like there was a lot of damage coming in from Sheridan, which there was. The entire team was just gaining their HP back. Any small impacts were just returned back to 100%, and it all added up from there.
Oh, Atlas, who's on the Diva now. Looking to keep this Matrix up against Dat Boy, who's swinging it away and now has a bubble on them. Dat Boy with the Earth Shatter, but Fracture responds with Earth Shatter of their own. No follow-up entirely there. Now a sound barrier to help keep this team caught in the Graviton alive. Wombats was the one, and they do survive. Hyperion with the kill on the Jeff. That Reaper putting shots down, but Skeleton Jack has to get out of dodge, gets booped away, might not be able to get to the health pack, barely does, but goes down anyway, and that'll be it for them. Also, they wrote, and now look at this, Wombats. I really almost can't believe this. Wombats look like they're... Well, I wouldn't say I can't believe it, JJ, because Wombats has definitely made this gap a lot closer against Sheridan as opposed to like Llama versus Azure, which was definitely in Llama's favor. But look at this, Wombats trying to do a Graviton self-destruct combination, but the Maywall gets there just in time. Great play by letter number. Neither team getting out of this, and now a huge swing, and it looks like it might be enough for Sheridan to come back. A great May play, and then Skeleton Jack for 2. Atlas trying to stay alive, but not really in a playmaker position to swing things back in their favor. JJ, what a play. And at 75%, it should be about 77% when they get it. It is. The point is stolen away from Wombats, now in Sheridan's control.
Yeah, and what a trade. I mean, literally 2 ultimates in the last 2 fights from Sheridan. They've wasted almost nothing, so this defense is going to go great. At least I think.
Oh, and there comes a Blizzard trying to slow down the Wombats here. Letter number comboing with Skeleton's damage output, but Skeleton gets knocked off the map. What a play. I think Combat Wombat got the boop, and then Atlas shoulder checked them to get them just far enough to get out of the map, because that Skeleton Jack was inside the map when they got booped. That was crazy. What a play. And now Atlas is super low HP and doesn't have their self-destruct. Graviton did come out there from Jeff, and I think Hyperion used theirs as well. Hyperion again goes down, but they kind of needed to reset there. Now 42% and counting for Wombats, or for Sheridan.
Yeah, they're rotating their ultimate. Sheridan's finally got their aggression. I was about to say they're not being aggressive enough. They're not being the first aggressors, but they've turned it around now. Now it's all left to see who goes first. Earth Shatters going against each other. Shields at the halfway point. Both of them trying to get into each other. Yeah,
what a block there. Atlas with the self-destruct. Can this be enough? It's not. And then Atlas goes down in vain. Both teams now slugging it out. Wombats on the perimeter of the point and trying to clean up the remainder of this team. Hyperion picks off 2. Letter number got Jehovah, but not too long after they died. Hyperion now has a Graviton ready to go. Throws it down right against the shield of Fracture, and then picks up the kill on the Volkir right behind. Finds Fracture as well, melting left and right. And Wombats get control at a crucial moment in this map, because now they have just 22% remaining to win this round.
Agreed. I mean, it looks like Sheridan's only going to be getting 3 ultimates coming up. It's going to be the ones they have now, and then 2 others after that. They're going to have to use them, possibly immediately. They're going to have to gain them during this fight, but against it, Transcendence. I'm not sure if it'll be enough.
There's the Blizzard. There's the Transcendence. But and Skeleton Jack gets stunned, isn't able to use the Death Blossom ability while Jeff throws down the Graviton. It's a late Death Blossom, but will it be there in time? It is. 3 kills, and Sheridan just will not say no. I mean, they did say no. They won't say yes. Wombats, it looked like they had the map there, and then Sheridan gets a very convincing win there, and they have Fracture on the Earth Shatter, so I don't know if they can get back.
I don't think so. We'll have 5 seconds in order to get there. Maybe Lucio will be able to go through. They see him. He's pushing through. 1% left, and no, it's not enough.
Sheridan with the GGs takes the series 3-1. Shout-outs, though, to their opponents, the Wombats. Not only great maps in the first 2 maps that looked closer than we expected, but the 3rd map they won, and that was great. A solid play on Dorado. Lijiang Tower looked like they were going to bring it back in the 2nd round, but they were unable to do so. Sheridan just popping off, but Hyperion certainly earned that play of the game. Or Dat Boy, I guess, got it, but you could see Hyperion got all 4 in those 5 kills. JJ, any final words to wrap up that series?
I mean, beautiful. I love just that curve to heights. Best wishes to Wombats. They've got a ton of good things coming out, and it was good to see that they didn't lose heart from those first matches. They kept it going. They kept it even going stronger and pushing even farther. I would just say, like, at the end, it was unfortunate. Their ultimates just weren't there, and that's the thing about Koth. If you don't have your ultimates to push back in, or you pushed in with too much, you end up banking yourself.
Yeah, I definitely a commendable play by the Wombats, but Sheridan, of course, the stronger team, and the stronger team prevailed today. That was just our 2nd match of the day, though. I believe we still have 2 more to go. And we have a break in between this one and the next one, about 10 minutes. So don't go anywhere. More ECS 2019 brought to you by eSportNet coming your way. We have our third match of the day on the way. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side of this 10-minute break. What's up, Overwatchers? Welcome back to ECS 2019 brought to you by eSportNet. Apologies. We unfortunately do have a forfeit, so we will be skipping that match. We will be back instead in about an hour and 15 hour and a half or so. It will be 4:30 Pacific. So I believe that'll be 7:30 Eastern. So just under 2 hours will be our next match. So if you can come through and watch that one, that'll be our fourth and final match of the day. I would definitely appreciate it. But we'll see you then. It'll be 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern for our fourth and final match of the day of these elimination rounds here in ECS 2019. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you for our fourth and final match in just a little bit.
How's it going, Overwatch fans? Welcome to an eSportNet's ECS 2019. My name is JJSkywalker, and I'm joined by my fellow capture Rapture for tonight's last match. Now, for tonight's match, we're going to be seeing Weird Squad versus Sinai Village. Now, last match, Rapture, it was pretty interesting, and sadly, actually, the match after that was a forfeit. But what are you expecting out of this one?
Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell, not knowing these players individually, but looking at, I know that both of these teams are fielding Masters and Grandmasters players here, and we know that these teams will either go like somewhat standard compositions like Sombra Goats to anything, or that might be a bit more abstract like triple DPS with Hammond, and then of course just for sometimes random compositions. I think the play has tightened up as the day has gone on, so I'm expecting hopefully one of the better matches we've seen today.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, right now we're going to be seeing Weird Squad in the defense, and we'll be seeing how it fares against Sinai Village's aggression.
Yeah, already the first attempt here. Weird Sound on defense. Going to try and hold on with just a straight-up Goats composition. Running that 3-3. They got the Reinhardt, unfortunately, going down early. Faded, losing their life against Leaf on that front line. So the rest of Weird Squad is no choice, really, but to back up. They've lost their main shield, and the Zarya bubble just aren't going to cover it. That right there, you can see how important keeping your Reinhardt alive is. Just off that one kill, Weird Squad backs up and gives up the entire point.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, if they give any more, they're going to be giving too much all charge. It might be a good idea just to back away from here since it's not secured. But they got their full team, and it looks like they're closing the...
Yeah, because both these teams are running Goats comp. I definitely have some high hopes for this. Ooh, an Earth Shatter that catches the D.Va ship just barely there. Not a huge, highly effective Earth Shatter. Graviton, though, is going to follow up to try and get some more done. And Earth Shatter gets put down, so the advancers on the Graviton can't get the immediate follow-up there. And now a Graviton of their own is going to come out from Lunacy. And then another Earth Shatter from Leaf. Stagger towards the end when a majority of Weird Sound was not behind the shield. The timing was perfect. Another Earth Shatter goes down, and then Ship tries to follow up on that. Both teams trying to throw down as much as they can there. And it will be Weird Sound with the late ultimates able to pull them through.
I think that's the quickest cycle I've seen through ultimates. I think that might have been 4 Earth Shatters there in that one single fight. It's fascinating how these guys are keeping up with each other, and yet right now Weird Squad is able to...
JJ, now that I think about it, for the amount of times that we've casted together in UGC and now here, we almost never saw Goats, right? Like, we've been through a bunch of metas together, and really, Goats wasn't a thing, and then Goats came around, we didn't have the opportunity to cast, and now I feel like it's the first time we really actually casted a Goats v Goats game together, and it's a very interesting contrast to things we've seen even prior to today, or prior to this match earlier today. where we have two mirror comps going at each other. I don't think we've seen that yet just so far. Maybe if we did for a very brief amount of time. And it's the most meta composition in the game currently. So both of these teams trying to make something out. Faded gets stunned, but Leaf has their life stolen by Still Kiwi. Buzz, Wolfwind, Zeal, Tree, Senpai, the entirety of this red squad, Sinai Village, is sitting on their ultimates, ready to go for this next push. But what they really want is not to lose Tree, but they also really want Goose to use their Transcendence before they really get anything started. If they can pop that Transcendence and bait Goose to use that Transcendence early, Sinai Village will have an easier time winning this fight.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you said. I mean, both teams running the same comp, but as we're seeing, just small differences in execution, which right now it looks like Sinai Village is going to be going off to the right, trying to abuse all the potential that they have, bottling them in on the opposite side. Graviton hitting them up, and a Diva Bomb going.
Yeah, the classic combo, Graviton into Diva Bomb, self-destruct, Ship gets 2 off that, and then Still Kiwi gets the final cleanup. Weird Squad, after losing the first point, they have really come back together, and they are going to get the stagger kill onto Buzz as well. A nice job. So not only that, some extra time taken off the clock too.
Yeah, they were very much willing to just lose that first point rather than losing time. I mean, it seems like they've clearly practiced this point to understand that they can definitely hold this archway, even with them having a respawn advantage.
Absolutely. And now 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock here for the red squad, Sinai Village. Weird Squad gonna have to take they're getting pushed from the left and then hit with a self-destruct as they back up. Leaf hits an Earth Shatter, a nice staggering of ultimates. Weird Squad though only loses a Diva mech, so that's not even much of a loss at all. Now Mega Molini gonna go in, finds Wolfwind, plays very aggressively. Great play by Mega, and now the D-Mech as well, and what a response. I definitely saw what Sinai Village was going for, right? They're trying to get Weird Squad to retreat and kind of run into ultimates and be unable to get away from them, but Weird Squad was in the right position at the right time. They reacted immediately, and Sinai Village not only lost the fight, but they blew every ultimate they had.
Yeah, and a complete surprise to them too, because Mega Molini is just getting into their backline rather than backing away. The aggression's being...
Nope, and Leaf now trying to build up another Earth Shatter, gets a nice Fire Strike kill on the Mega Molini, but then goes down as Lunacy picks up the kill. Self-destruct getting caught there, Graviton catching a majority of Sinai Village in the rock, but no follow-up. And now the Diva out without a bubble. Lunacy goes down. That Diva likely going to get demeched quickly. Ship does get demeched and then immediately killed by Senpai. And Sinai Village, after a very quick point-A capture, things are moving finally, but not as quickly as they'd hope.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they're barely getting to the halfway point. I feel like they might still have distance to go, but they're getting close so that they can get just a little bit of wiggle room. 1 minute left. They got 2 good pushes.
Yeah, definitely. Graviton goes down. Leaf gets stunned while trying to use the Earth Shatter, but it might have been the best thing to happen because that shield might have blocked it. Self-destruct goes down. No kills. Leaf still has the Earth Shatter, gets stunned, looking to block. Goes to cover and keeps the team alive, but Faded takes their life away before Leaf can use the Earth Shatter. That was their only tool here after the Self-Destruct came out. And now Sinai Village again routed on this fight. They have maybe one more chance at a fight, but because the team is getting staggered out here, this is not an opportunity for Sinai Village to get back. They gotta regroup. They have very little time to do.
Agreed. But Weird Squad did invest a lot into that defense, so that might be their or the trump card that Sinai Village.
No, absolutely. And Sinai Village now, I mean, the thing is that Weird Squad knows that they have to immediately attack. They have to go on the offense. So really, Weird Squad can fall back. As you can see, they've fallen all the way back to the second checkpoint. Let Sinai Village come to them, leave cover, and potentially get picked off. Leaf struggling to keep their shield up. Earth Shatter comes down just as they get stunned. No immediate kill. The Sentai found Mega Maloney just before both got popped. Graviton popped down there by Lunacy. Ship with the self-destruct. Could that be it? Transcendence comes down, but it's not enough to keep Tree alive. Graviton now out. Wolfwind still has their Transcendence out. Senpai with the rally as well means it's very hard for Weird Squad to break through. All 3 supports go down for Weird Squad, and Sinai Village popped all their support ultimates at the perfect time, keeping the team alive and allowing them to push to the second checkpoint and keep their hopes still in this game, keep themselves still in this game with 1 minute and 24 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, such a difficult way to just try to buy your way. It's almost trying to pick away at the crumbs that are just left by the enemy team. All ultimates being put on the line in order to see whether or not they can get just a little bit of momentum. Sinai Village able to get just a little bit with their D.Va ultimate, a little bit with their Graviton, and then just heading forward.
And now some more can be done here with the Earth Shatter and the Self-Destruct, but Zeal doesn't have a Graviton. They would certainly love that Self-Destruct Graviton combination. Earth Shatter comes from Leaf that they got boots forward, tries to get the pin, but can't land it cleanly on Faded. Self-Destruct comes out, that's not going to be clean. Buzz doesn't get any kills. Tree picks one up though, Faded! Oh, Leaf gets booped around and knocked off by Mega Milani. And that's a huge loss for Sinai Village. They needed that shield to sustain through the rest of this fight. And now Zeal, who looks like they are at a ton of charge, they are. And with the Graviton, it's still not enough to break through. And now again, Sinai Village reduced to very little time of the clock. Actually pops the Graviton instead when it looked like Sinai Village wasn't going to engage in the fight. Plus the Transcends, they get caught on the Graviton too. Self-Destruct comes out, and Zeal is the one that ends up getting killed off the Self-Destruct despite engaging first with the Graviton of their own. But it looks like they might not have even needed to. Instead, Sinai Village goes in possibly a bit too early, and the Weird Squad might be able to hold this unless Buzz can touch in time. Does so. Overtime ticking away now, JJ, but Weird Squad is in full control.
Yeah, completely unfortunate. I mean, just losing it at that point, but either way, they're pushing on the reinforcements as best as they can, but slowly being whittled down one by one. It's just a stagger at this point, and I don't think nobody's going to be inside of this point. Overtime's going to be going down, and yes, it does look like Sinai's able to hold. Or, sorry, other way around.
Weird Squad able to hold there. Sinai almost able to complete the map, but it wasn't good enough.
2-2. Switching sides.
Now we go into a next attempt on Blizzard World, our first map of our last match of the day here. Of course, we still have some more ECS 2019 tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for the conclusion of the tournament of the weekend, which will be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific tomorrow on Sunday, of course, on esport.net, .org/stream. But that being said, we still got to finish up this match, the final match of the day. And right now, it looks like Weird Squad wants to finish up this map very quickly. They got the hold, and now they just have to get that far, get to where Sinai Village got, and take the lead in this series.
Ready for battle.
Both teams are going to be looking for what would be the best team composition here. Would not be surprised if their squad in either color really go back for goats. Weird Squad, because they came off a win, probably might be less compelled to go for a composition that worked already. They might feel more compelled to change it up. The team that lost might want to continue to go for it again because they felt like that might be their best bet. Not entirely sure. Sinai Village on defense looks like they are in fact going to go goats. So they're going to be running that Zarya Reinhardt, D.Va, Zenyatta, Lucio, Bree. And meanwhile on offense, it looks like Weird Squad's playing with fire, considering some options. They had a Roadhog at one point, they had an Orisa at one point, but they are also going to go the mirror composition as well.
They're asking for a pause.
Now, it looks like we are going to get a pause. Yep, Mega Milani was left the lobby. So, we'll see if we can get him back in. Anyway, we're going to go to a quick break here as we get... it looks like Mega Milani's back in the game? Yeah, I think we actually might be able to get back into the map. We'll see. But yeah, quick pause here, of course, as we try to get things settled. Thank you all for tuning in. JJ, any expectations for this next push?
Hard to say. I'm like trying to think of those differentiations, and it's very true. We've very rarely seen GOATS comp in different types of tournaments, and even today we haven't really seen it used too much. So I'm fascinated that these teams are so adamant in pitting these things against each other and weighing the differences. You were saying earlier that they were looking at the difference between maybe Roadhog or D.Va. Roadhog could definitely deal a lot of damage to those shields, possibly even get picks that are too far away from said shields, or if breaking down said shields, it can get picks easier. But the D.Va, I mean, you clearly said it, it's the combo Graviton D.Va bomb right after on top of it. It's perfect for the situation. All the enemies pitted together, immediately decimated, even if they have all their shields, all resources wasted. So I'm honestly expecting a lot of the same things we saw before. I'm just waiting to see whose play is going to be better, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with both of these teams likely going mirror comps, it's definitely going to come down to which team can better execute, look and get those Graviton self-destruct combinations, land those Earth Shatters, and make sure your support ultimates get used and staggered instead of being used all at once. Sometimes teams can get caught in the trap of using their ultimates all at once, and then they get squeezed out because the other team is able to get an ultimate in that lasts longer than yours, and you end up dying as a result. Having the Transcendence that lasts longer than your team can certainly be rough. Looks like we're still having some player issues for the blue side, and I think Mega Blondie is intending on coming back into the game. I think it'll okay if we go to a quick 1 minute break here as the teams get sorted. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after a short break with more ECS 2019.
Ethereal Network, the gaming network.
Welcome back, everybody, to Esports Net ECS 2019. This is day one of our day two event here. I'm Rapture here with JJSkywalker as we continue to try to get our next match or our last match continued at least. Both of these teams have already... Actually, this is our first map of this match. And so far, the red squad here have been unable to take out a weird squad, and we're only able to get to 2 points on the map, and we're waiting for Weird Squad's 6th player to rejoin us.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it's interesting that they seem to be having issues. I mean, yeah, it looks like they're calling for red.
Yeah, it looks like Mega Milani had left, and then Still Kiwi was having a glitch. So it looks like we're going to be bringing ourselves back into this matchup. And that means we'll be able to see the continuation and finish of Blizzard World, which will start us off on this series. So here we go back into the game. Mega Milani, Lunacy, Still Kiwi, Goose, Faded, and Ship back to the roster. Weird Squad. And in the red, Sinai Village, who only got 2 points on their offensive attempt. They have to try and hold off the blue squad, the Weird Squad, that is, on theirs.
Yeah, and somehow they lost Zeal. He just died.
Yeah, I honestly, like, it was really just, like, a bad situation. I think, just Zeal was, I think, pushed up to a head and then, like, right-click. I honestly don't even remember what happened. And then Weird Squad just gets the point. Losing Zeal was enough, despite Weird Squad being put in a bad position with the disconnect. We're able to get the payload, but I mean, this is what Weird Squad just did to Sinai Village. They gave up the first point very swiftly, but then they held at the choke point almost the entire remainder of the time bank. So Weird Squad might have this happen to them. Sinai Village, that being said, Sinai Village has to burn way more time. They burn over 5 minutes on this defense, whereas Weird Squad only had to burn about 3.
Looks like they're aggressive.
Wow, that was a big earth shatter. That was huge by Faded. Lines up the entirety of Sinai Village like bowling pins, knocks them all down, and that's a big win there for Weird Squad.
Yeah, they were taking up a much more aggressive position. I was about to say how fascinating it is. Like, they're just going to be kind of going for that verticality, since the only person that could tackle them is D.Va, but it was punished immediately, allowing them to push a lot forward, and they're going to be having a good time back there, getting to the halfway point of the phase 2.
And now, of course, you certainly want to be looking for Weird Squad. They want to be getting these stuns to break through the shielding of Leaf and then some. And that'll allow them to sneak in their Earth Shatters, get in their ultimates. Graviton comes out. It's going to bring Sinai clumped up onto the payload. Now Faded has the Earth Shatter. Graviton comes out. Faded loses their shield, uses the Earth Shatter, but then gets hit by Leafs. Weird Squad still alive nonetheless, as Still Kiwi was able to pop out the sound barrier just after Goose had used the Transcendence, and look at that, Ship able to steal 2 kills away with the self-destruct double kill. Wolfwind and Leaf both go down, and Weird Squad, I gotta say, their ult timing has been perfect so far. They've been staggering ultimates, so one support ultimate after another, and if they can't get the combination, they're just using them individually with really great timing.
Agreed. If every time there seems to be a stun, somebody else comes around the corner and does the stun to the enemy team as well, it's assisting them ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. It's all a game about stuns, especially in this meta. You want to be stunning the enemy Reinhardt, stunning the enemy D.Va, the Zarya. Try and get rid of the barriers so you can try and get your kills, try and get your ultimates out here. And now Faded, again, very close to another Earth Shatter here. About to get it right now. One Fire Strike. Doesn't even need that. Will do the trick. And the payload still a lot of time to go and not very much distance. Graviton comes out. Earth Shatter gonna try and sneak by here despite the Transcendence. Still pops it. No immediate kills. And then our Earth Shatter there comes out from Leaf, putting a bunch of Weird Squad on their back. Goose finds Leaf though, Faded all the way in the corner, gets taken out. The D.Va and Bree get knocked into the corner, and only Senpai is taken out, but that's more than enough to start getting a little snowball going as Lunacy finds Zeal afterward. Faded's going to start rejoining the fight. Mega Milani does so as well, helps D-Mech buzz, and Goose is going to get the D-Mech, but Still Kiwi getting the boop off. And that, just like that, Weird Squad might have this, as Leaf has to engage by themselves, which means they'll be staggered and not there for the proper team fight. And Leaf and Wolfwind do go down, less than 3 meters to go. Tree throws their body down on the line. Senpai does as well. And there it is. After much delay, the Weird Squad takes the first map of the series.
Man, that break helped them so much. Their staggers, like you said, was just so beautiful. The moment they were earth-shattered, Lucio barrier to assist the rest of them, put that into the fight, and just dominate it for phase.
And you can see the example of it right there. Just after that Graviton, you get the self-destruct. And then you got Faded was trying to clean up and get their own Earth Shatter as well. And now we have our next map coming up, everybody. More ECS 2019 coming your way. But first, we're going to take a short break. This time, definitely a very short break. When we come back, the second map in our last series of the day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to ECS 2019. It is time for Map 2. It is going to be Nepal between these two squads. Sinai Village had the map pick, so they're bringing us to Nepal for 2 or 3 rounds of control. JJ, as we know, the weird squad, after some technical difficulties, were able to take Blizzard World. Do you think they'll be able to take Nepal as well?
Difficult when you say, especially considering that we're finally seeing different types of compositions here, and naturally, it's Sanctuary, it's Nepal, definitely acts for different things, but we're seeing Dive here, so I'm fascinated to see what they're going to be bringing up. I can't say who's going to win.
Well, I guess we will find out for sure as we have both teams breaking out here in Sanctum, which will be our first round map variation here in Nepal. Both teams are going to be heading over to the upper high ground on the right, towards the statue for their first fight, while Buzz rotates over to the point. That's going to get the attention of their Diva counterpart, Ship, before Ship goes right back to join Goose and the rest of the blue squad to take this fight towards the statue. Still, it will be the percentage taken up here by the Diva that forces Ship back to the point. Now it's going to be passed over, possession at least to the monkey there, Leaf, and that translates into a pickup there by Sinai Village. They get the first capture from the Diva to Winston connection. And now it looks like they're going to be at least trying to scramble to hold on to that possession as the Weird Squad has the kill advantage. They're looking to try and pick up this Winston kill. Winston, unfortunately, gets caught in the corner, has a Discord Orb on them, gets back into cover again, but there's very little places to run. Goose does get the kill, and Leaf will go down. Graviton comes out, but it's eaten by Ship. A great play there. Zeal has to be careful. The Diva was ready right there with the Matrix. A great play. And still Kiwi gets the D-Mech onto Buzz. And this will get the translation into a completion for Weird Squad as they take it at 30%.
Yeah, Bold of Senpai from Sinai went to the backline, disgruntled all the supports of Weird Squad. They weren't able to back them up, but they reconciled quickly. Right after that, got all together, dominated the point, and kept going from there. Their ultimates are looking great right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's an understatement. Weird Squad has 5 ultimates to work with. They use Learn, Seize, Graviton, of course followed up by the Self-Destruct, which wasn't even necessary. In fact, every kill came without the D.Va even contributing whatsoever. So they could have saved the Self-Destruct, but better to be safe than sorry. So only 2 ultimates burned there. Weird Squad still has a 2 ultimate lead, despite just winning that fight with very little effort.
And it's difficult. I mean, you lose those fights so quickly. You're not going to be gaining anything. Luckily, they've got a little bit of space here. Support ultimates are going to be used, no doubt, so they might get a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, Senpai has no choice but to use that rally before the fight happens, but they don't have a Transcendence. They don't have the sound barrier yet. It's going to be hard for this red team to really push up and be aggressive against the high damage output and the Discord Orb thrown out by Goose, and Goose is just getting the kills himself, gets 2 off that Discord Orb. Now Graviton cuts in, but Faded and Chip. Oh wow, the Self-Destruct comes out, but it gets booped off the map and into the pit, so it can't kill anybody on Weird Squad. What a play there. Buzz denied kills off the Self-Destruct, and Weird Squad still holds on.
Yeah, wow, fascinating. It seemed like she dropped it like without using the boosters, so it fell to just the forces of gravity and just naturally.
Yeah, it's with the new changes to how things can be booped there. I mean, that's a perfect example of how much more utility Lucio gets out of that right click. And now we have a Primal Rage comes out from Leaf. Meanwhile, Goose finds Wolf Win. So 5v5 situation. Mega Milani went down to Leaf. Goose at 75 HP trying to use the Discord Orb to cut off Tree's Lucio. But no one's on the point. No one goes over and contests. Leaf doesn't get there in time, and Tree went down. No one's there. And without even so much as a fight, a nice, that is we call, yeah, a Charlie Niner right there, a nice letter number. Sinai Village does not touch the point. To be fair, it's not a C9 because Sinai Village wasn't in control of the point, but they should have contested it, so they could have tried to keep themselves in the game. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it was just a fight for any form of advantage, but in that fight they forgot the key objective, the point, and there's not much more to say.
Exactly. Yeah, say like for it to be a real C9 they would have had to have had possession or just won the fight. They just didn't have it in mind. They just weren't even able to get there, and not even just, it's not that they didn't necessarily have it in mind, but a lot of them were crowd controlled and others were just unable to get there in time. But it seemed like they should have been, you know. It's felt like enough time had passed where someone should have been able to get there in time. But nonetheless, Sinai Village unable to touch, and that will mean that they got to make something happen here on Village here in Nepal. But they're up against this May. Goose is in their home, territory right now. This is their environment, right in the cold, already doing work. But then gets put down by Zeal. Still, Mega Milani gets some revenge, finds Wolfwind. Leaf on this wrecking ball, trying to disrupt everyone on the point, but they're taking a ton of damage doing so. Still alive with the help of this armor, and getting a lot of ult charge, but then Faded, just picking off their team left and right. With the help of Still Kiwi, you find Senpai, and a big win there for the Weird Squad.
They were doing pretty great, but they left Zeal alone. This team is a little bit strange. It almost reminds me of one of the first match's compositions. It seems like there's multiple things happening here that I'm not sure. Sinai Village needs to keep it together when they're going in for their attacks, or it's going to keep going down.
High Noon from Zeal. It forces Weird Squad to try and take cover, but they can't! And Zeal picks up 4. What an absolutely stunning High Noon. Zeal was in the perfect position for that. Gets a nice line of sight. Picks up 5 kills, 4 from the High Noon, and then gets the DMAC and the pick off on the D.Va. What a play by Zeal.
Yeah, not expected. I think the shield literally went down for like 1 second, and then the ice wall went down right after, and it was just a perfect timing.
And now Zeal looking for more, forcing Goose to burn their cooldowns. We have a Coalescence from Mega Milani. We have the field from Leaf. Buzz with the EMP. And that's going to allow Sinai Village to follow up. And now Ship going to be staggered as well. Sinai Village, they're looking tough right here. They're definitely giving this Weird Squad team a run for their money.
Yeah, agreed. 3 ultimates in, and they've already got High Noon back up. 3 ultimates on the defense, and right now Weird Squad they gotta generate just a little bit to get what they need for this.
And here's the thing though, is that Zeal is doing great right now. We're seeing Buzz Senpai doing great right now. But how long can they keep it up? What can Zeal do here? Oh, great Maywall to cut off a lot of these targets from Zeal, but still able to find Still Kiwi. It's a 4v4 situation, and Tree went down, so no reses for that squad. No mercy on the other side either, so whoever's down, they're down for good. Well, until they get back to spawn. Oh, Buzz kills Faded as they were about to Earth Shatter. That's huge, but here's the Graviton self-destruct compensation. Transcendence comes out. Ship gets a self-destruct kill on the Leaf. Here's the Coalescence trying to fall for more. Sinai Village trying to keep Zeal alive, but Zeal's on their own. Now the Mercy comes in just in time. Tree comes back from spawn, helps keep the Cowboy up. Still uncontrolled at the point here is Weird Squad using the May wall to cut off Sinai Village's DPS. And now Zeal pushing up farther. The McCree and the Pharah are both trying to get some kills, but they're backed off by the Zarya. Sinai Village having some trouble getting back onto the point, and even though they've had a big impact on this round, Weird Squad is just slowly but surely taking it away from them, closing the gap. Zeal again with another High Noon. Can they make magic happen once more? Trying to hold a sight line, only gets Goose, unable to replicate that 4-player High Noon from earlier. Sinai Village, they are getting some favor here. They have a sound barrier to chew through now. Now a Coalescence coming out from the Moira Mega Milani. They have Lunacy who has the Graviton, throws it down. And Wolfwind, their only Transcendence, their only hope. That got killed with the Crossfire. Sinai Village unable to make it happen. The Reds coming out here from the Mercy. And Zeal is somehow able to resurrect it by Tree. Gets a kill immediately on Mega Milani as Senpai finds Still Kiwi, but it's not enough. Lunacy finds Zeal. This fight won't end. Sinai Village trying to stay alive. Senpai with the barrage, but Goose sends him packing. Senpai gets the DMAC, but it's not enough. The kill feed's still going red. Leaf and Tree on it. Overtime taken away. Zeal trying to get back into the fight. Wolfwind with the Transcendence. Pops that, but that's the only ult they had to work with until Zeal gets back with the High Noon. Will he get there in time to get some kills? Faded finds Wolfwind. Senpai now trying to rejoin battle on the Tracer. We have the Hammer going down, but an Earth Shatter puts them on their backs. That's huge. Leaf barely staying alive, but Zeal can't say the same thing. Buzz with the EMP. Faded finally finds Leaf, and Senpai now trying to get into this and rework this fight for the Red Squad, and it's still going down, and Weird Squad takes it away. Senpai, wow. Sinai Village, what a fight. Sinai Village almost able to make it happen. Zeal was trying to put the team on their back. The Hammer was putting in work. The Pharah, the Buzz on the Sombra was putting in work. Yeah, you're right. Here's that huge High Noon. A great line of sight just as that May wall was ready to burst. And then Sinai Village almost brought it back, but after a very elongated fight there, Weird Squad takes the second map.
Yeah, Weezcron was in for the siege, man. I've never seen somebody hold so strongly without moving their position whatsoever. Sinai was looking for any form of weakness they could, but there was none. Every time they found a weakness, Maywall. Anytime they were able to go in, May ult, Lucio barrier. It was fascinating to watch.
It really was. That was definitely a hype round. Certainly one of the more hype rounds here at ECS 2019 today. And certainly at least some more to come in this potentially third and final map here. The Weird Squad up 2-0. Sinai Village, though, still has some opportunities. They can take this next map, and then just have to take 2 more. And they will be able to somehow make it happen. We're going to be going to... We'll find out what this next map will be as Zeal's thinking about it. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, the third map between the Weird Squad and Sinai Village. Welcome back, Overwatchers. It is ECS 2019, our fourth and final match of the day. This is day one of day two, and this is our third map of this matchup between the Weird Squad and Sinai Village. We're going to be going to Lijiang Tower to potentially decide things because Weird Squad is up 2-0 in the series. JJ, we're going to Lijiang Tower. We've already seen that both of these teams can get pretty close on control, so I mean, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, we can see that Weird Squad can hold that siege. They can stagger their ultimates in just the right way, as we saw, not only in their goats, but as well as in that differentiated dive that we saw on Nepal, that they can just keep it going almost infinitely. So I want to see that coming into...
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to see a different composition, though, because this portion of the map, this is the Gardens of variant of Lijiang Tower. This is more open, so teams like to go for Pharah. Pharah has been a classic pick on this map for so long, but because it's so open, because you can just work with so much room, Tracer, of course, a pretty common pick. Goose running the 76, which is a buffed recently character, has a little more damage per shot, and a little easier to land those shots. And the Red Squad, meanwhile, going for a triple DPS, but it's an uncommon triple DPS. They had Widowmaker, now Zeal on the McCree, which still doesn't make it any less obscure or unorthodox. Senpai now on the Tracer, and now they're going to change things up, putting a Moira. Now they're completely changed up. It looks like they might be going to it's a slightly modified dive composition with the Sombra, but also the Moira. So the Red Squad Sinai Village really trying to test the waters here and figure out a solution against this really strong triple deep. They have it's like quad DPS composition now coming out from Weird Squad. Pharah, Tracer, 76, the Sombra, and EMP into the pile driver, or against the pile driver there. They had one at least, that faded, yeah. Drops that down. Mega Milani gets a kill on the Buzz. And this squad, the weirdest of squads right here, running quad DPS, one healer, faded on the Hammond, and it's working out.
Yeah, strange was definitely a word I thought initially seeing this, but it's working for them against the normal type of dive comp. They were running against Lucia, they were running against Zenyatta, they were trying to, kill, I believe, a Mercy at the beginning. Those people just go down to what we're seeing right now, which is essentially quadruple DPS.
Yeah, this quad DPS composition, I've seen it. It's still like not even very super common. I can't even think of where I've seen it before. But look at this, the coalescence from Tree is not enough to deny Goose from these kills. Gets one off the visor, the right click as well off the tail end of that on Leaf, and another big win. And that's just right at the bridge. It's even hard for them to push through this choke point, Sinai Village. Not only that, because it's hard to break through this choke point here, they don't have an opportunity to build ult charge. It's hard for them to get back into this fight.
Yeah, agreed. And I think where you've seen it, I might remember when Deathball became a thing, this started to become popular, but people just naturally went straight into Deathball. So I'm thinking it came from...
Oh, and there's the EMP. Yeah, you're talking about Deathball. I wonder if maybe that would be an opportunity. Goats might even be good against this potentially, or at least for them, potentially a better solution here. Senpai with the pulse bomb might be too little too late here. Still, Kiwi's just going to easily get the res. Mega Milani's right back in it. Overtime taken away, and this definitely looks like a more convincing win here as overtime will cease, and now a 1-0 lead here for the Weird Squad, unless they can't stop this trickle. A Leaf goes down. There's an EMP. All right, I think they're trying to make the most of this. Buzz though gets D-Max. Seal goes down. That's it. Yeah, I had some hope. Tree trying to get in, Senpai trying to get in, but unfortunately not enough players to follow up on Buzz's or Zeal's EMP. They tried to do their best, and now Sinai Village. One more round to go because this is game set match essentially right here. This is game set match point for the Blue Squad, for the Weird Squad. They take this round of Lijiang, they take the map, and they take the series.
Agreed. For Sinai Village, Sombra hurt them a lot, even there at the end. Leaf tried his best, wanted to contest with the Monkey Ultimate, but hacked. And that seemed to be just the thing going on consistently. Anytime anybody did anything, they were staggered, either by some form of kill or some form of a hack or stun in that sense. So it looks like we're going to be seeing switch. Definitely squishy people aren't going to last as well in these tight corridors.
Yeah, well, this is the thing about this variant control center of Lijiang Tower is that it can make for some really claustrophobic fights and a lot of cover to take. It can be hard to land some shots. It can be hard to get away from stuff too. You can already see even the Weird Squad taking a huge bashing here in server room. Leaf Tree and Senpai just find focus fire a number of players there from the Weird Squad and get some early kills. Tree, I think that was a second or third kill there as they pick off Lunacy. And that, of course, translates to a completion and capture here for Sinai Village.
Yeah, Sinai keeping their heads just cool, I'd say. They kept the damage off their tanks as best as they could, moving the Zara barriers where they needed to be, and just consistently bobbing and...
Yeah, they're able to really just work through it and find these little paths to kind of break through the Weird Squad right now. But Weird Squad just is able to do the same against them. Both Reinhardt's trading. Ship, though, is able to find Leaf. It takes out that Reinhardt. Then gets a second kill, looking for more, but Zeal and Wolfwing go down to Mega Milani and Lunacy instead. And right now, Sinai Village gets pulverized. They maybe overextended a little bit, actually, and should have probably stayed on the point, and now they've lost it.
But right now, one team, Weird Squad, has Graviton. I think that's going to change it up completely. Or rather...
Oh, Graviton goes down, but another Graviton then goes down. So both players, and literally the entirety of Weird Squad using all their ultimates except still Kiwi, waiting for the sound barrier. And that was absolutely nuts. Lunacy uses the Graviton, and then Ship with the Blizzard, a ton of ults being burned all at once to ensure that this Red Squad cannot pull back in. But Weird Squad, this is actually kind of uncharacteristic. They've been, throughout this series, winning fights without having to burn everything. There, they just decide, screw it, we're just going to burn the entire bank account, burn everything there, and now they're going to try and build everything back up. But as you can see, they are at an ultimate deficiency. They are at an ultimate loss. The gap is somewhat increasing as they just use their sound barrier to try and stay alive. Leaf goes down with their Earth Shatter, though. That's huge. A big win there for Weird Squad. Is that Reinhardt could have been crucial to winning that fight.
Yeah, and Ship is just constantly bringing the walls. Doesn't matter who he's damaging, wall. The moment it comes out of cooldown, wall. And it's hurting Sinai right now because their natural tendency is to walk between that.
Oh, look at this. Weird Squad pushing all the way up. The Graviton from Lunacy, and that's a 15-player kill streak for that. Zarya continues to push up. Ship steals away 2 kills. Lunacy on 17 now. 84% to go. The Weird Squad goes in for the just desserts. They kick them while they're down. That's a big win by the Weird Squad. And now they just want to take this fight and end it right here, right now. Earthshatter puts Lunacy and co on their backs. Ship and Goose also went down, and they get picked off. And Ship is barely able to stay alive, but no one's on the point, and they're just so unable to break through with that fight. Weird Squad puts on a hell of a show, and they keep them in their spawn, take Lijiang Tower 2-0, and they take the series 3-0.
Yeah, what goal. And I mean, what a difference. It's clear a different form of play. Very different from the first games we saw where it was a straight, put through. Sinai did have a lot of skill, but Weird Squad just kept that ult management undoubtedly well. Their rotations were just beautiful, and every player was just on point when it came.
Yeah, this was certainly a really good set, even though the score might not represent it. I would definitely say that this was a tale of two teams putting on a really great show, and it made for some really exciting maps, especially those 2 control maps were a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to cast. JJ, I would say both of these teams did some great work, but we know that a bunch of these teams are going into the next round, which is tomorrow, the second and final day of the eNet ECS. Sinai Village won't be one of them, but the Weird Squad will be. They will be joining the likes of Llamas and others as we move into the next portion of the bracket, the final portion of the bracket. The first match will start off tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. JJ, any final words here?
No, I mean, honestly, I can't wait. I mean, what we've seen from these games, if these are just the first games, some of them were a little wonky, but we definitely saw huge potential. I'm ready to see what some of these teams do battling against their ultimate defenses against, if you will, unstoppable force.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what these teams that have won in a dominant fashion can do, but how will they face off against one another? I guess we'll find out by tuning in tomorrow to the conclusion of the eNet ECS 2019. Thank you all for tuning in for day one. Again, tomorrow, the broadcast will kick off at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. Eastern, with some more Overwatch here at eNet. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been Rapture here with JJSkywalker. Hope we had a good time throughout these matches, throughout the broadcast, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Ethereal Network, the gaming network.